In the apocalyptic ice age, I stockpile tens of billions worth of supplies. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction. So please don't attempt real magic, the results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 26: Black Eat Black. Seeing that Aunt Lin didn't answer no matter how much she shouted, the neighbors began to realize that they had been fooled by Aunt Lin. For a while, the chat group was filled with cordial greetings to Aunt Lin. But from the moment Aunt Lin decided to lie to her neighbors, she didn't even want to lose face. Of course, she didn't care how the neighbors scolded her. However, someone was eyeing the cheated supplies in her hand. For example, Chen Zhenghao, a social man. Although it has been 5 days since the end of the day, everyone does not know what the real situation is like outside. Therefore, it has not yet developed to the time of desperately fighting for supplies. In Zhang Yi's memory, Chen Zhenghao led a group of subordinates to rob other people's things, and even killed people. But now, he hasn't tried to seize the supplies from the neighbors by means of snatching. After all, not all people in society are lunatics. He has some brains. Even Zhang Yi, who shot off one of his legs, did not choose to continue to break into Zhang Yi's house without absolute certainty. Now, their family's supplies are also consumed a lot. People in this society don't have the habit of hoarding supplies at home. There is quite a lot of beer in the refrigerator, but it has been frozen on ice for a long time, not to mention that it can't satisfy the hunger. If you want to drink, you can only smash the ice cubes. What Aunt Lin did made his eyes shine. Aunt Lin had already said that the supplies should be collected and distributed uniformly. Although he scoffed at Aunt Lin's words, it is now obvious that Aunt Lin obtained some of the neighbor's supplies through coaxing. Then he has a just and fair reason to take it away. Even after the ice and snow were unsealed, things started to go wrong, and Aunt Lin didn't dare to do anything out of wrongdoing. So Chen Zhenghao picked up his phone and called Aunt Lin. At this time, Aunt Lin was at home, happily eating biscuits with her grandson Xiaohu. Instant noodles need to wait until the short call time every day before boiling water to soak. At this time, the phone rang quickly. "Grandma, call." Xiaohu pointed to the phone and said. Aunt Lin snorted coldly, her eyes filled with disdain. She thought it must be the neighbors who were cheated of supplies. For those fools, she didn't feel guilty at all, and felt that they were all fools. But when she picked up the phone and saw the name of the caller, there was a look of fear on her face. Chen Zhenghao? What does he want me for? Chen Zhenghao is a well-known social person, not only has many younger brothers, but also is said to have a strong background. It's not something that a small neighborhood committee officer like her can provoke. Aunt Lin answered the phone. Chen Zhenghao's voice came. "Hey, Aunt Lin. You are really good at getting all the supplies in everyone's hands into your hands." Aunt Lin became sensitive when she heard the word materials. She coughed. "Ahem, as the secretary of the neighborhood committee, it is my job to coordinate and manage supplies for everyone." Chen Zhenghao sneered. That's just right. Our family is short of supplies right now, so hurry up and bring them to me." Aunt Lin's face froze. She didn't expect that this hooligan would come to her door to extort her supplies. She seems to have forgotten that she also used shameless means to cheat the supplies from other neighbors. Although Aunt Lin didn't dare to provoke Chen Zhenghao, she was unwilling to hand over the supplies she got in order to keep herself and her grandson alive. She gritted her teeth and said, "I still need to organize and deal with these supplies. And there are still some people who haven't turned them in, so they can't be distributed yet." Chen Zhenghao was getting impatient. This Aunt Lin really didn't know how to live and die, and she used such words to prevaricate him. He scolded angrily, "Old man, don't be shameless. You pocketed all those things, right? Tell you, it's fine if you obediently hand over the things to me. Otherwise, I'll go and get them myself." Aunt Lin's face turned pale with fright. Trembling, she didn't know what to say. She has always been a bully and fears the tough. When facing ordinary owners, she is tricky and domineering. But how did she know how to deal with people like Chen Zhenghao? She could only bravely say, "What do you want to do? I warn you, don't mess around." I am the secretary of the neighborhood committee. Chen Zhanghao laughed even harder. Bah, what a piece of shit, you really treat yourself like garlic. If you don't give it to me, I'll come and get it myself. After finishing speaking, Chen Zhanghao hung up the phone in his hand. Because it was too cold these days, he called all his younger brothers to his home. On the one hand, there are more people to keep warm, and on the other hand, many people fell ill after being poured with cold water by Zhang Yi, so someone had to take care of them. Third, as a social person, Chen Zhanghao still has some brains. He has realized that something is wrong with the development of the situation, so he concentrates his hands. If there is someone in hand when necessary, he can have the absolute right to speak. But with so many people, there is always a need to eat. He hung up the phone, called his little brother directly, and then a group of people rushed towards Aunt Lin's house. Chen Zhanghao leaned on a mop as a walking stick, and held a baseball bat in one hand, and rushed to Aunt Lin's door aggressively. This scene was all clearly seen by Zhang Yi using the surveillance probe. Zhang Yi sat on the TV with his legs crossed on the coffee table, eating potato chips and enjoying the programs on TV. It looks like it's going to be a dog-eat-dog scene. Zhang Yi said with a smile. This is only the 5th day of the end of the world. I didn't expect such a beautiful scene, and both sides are people he hates very much. Zhang Yi was in a very happy mood. Suddenly, he thought of those stupid neighbors who were deceived by Aunt Lin. According to the memory of his previous life, and the knowledge of these neighbors, even after going through this incident, there will be people who will be fooled one after another. There is no way. People always have luck, and because of thousands of years of Confucianism, people will instinctively choose to obey Aunt Lin, who represents the neighborhood committee. In this way, Aunt Lin squeezed the wool layer by layer. Zhang Yi touched his chin. If I post what happened here to the group, I don't know what will happen. A smirk appeared on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. It will definitely be quite exciting. So he hit the record button. After Chen Zhanghao brought people to Aunt Lin's house, he began to yell loudly, asking Aunt Lin to open the door. Yulu community is a mid-range community, and every household has installed anti-theft doors. But as we all know, the anti-theft door is anti-thief, but it is not very powerful for tough breaking the door. Aunt Lin's family is not Zhang Yi's. Although it could be seen that Aunt Lin was desperately trying to block the door lock, which was able to prevent theft, still couldn't stop a group of envious hooligans. They smashed hard with baseball bats, steel rods, and crowbars, and quickly destroyed the door lock. It can be seen that this is not the first time they have done this kind of thing. After the door lock was broken, the table and sofa inside that Aunt Lin used to block the door could not stop them at all. Through the camera, Zhang Yi saw Aunt Lin's pale face full of horror. Chapter 27 Fly Kick Lin Xiaohu. Soon, Zhang Yi heard Aunt Lin's screams like killing a pig. After Chen Zhanghao rushed into the room, he slapped Aunt Lin's face hard. Old man, let you deceive the supplies of the neighbors, I am doing justice for the heavens. Chen Zhanghao laughed and said. Aunt Lin was beaten and fell to the ground, her head was dizzy and she couldn't speak for a long time. Chen Zhanghao said to his subordinates, search for me, we will take away all the food and drink in this house. This is all the hard work of the neighbors, so we can't take advantage of her. The subordinates laughed and winked, got into the kitchen and bedroom, and searched all the places where things could be hidden in Aunt Lin's house. Soon, I found a lot of instant noodles, bread, biscuits, mineral water and so on. Aunt Lin crawled over crying, hugged Chen Zhanghao's thigh and said, you can't take all the things away. There are also things that our family hoarded. You took them all away. How can my grandson and I live? Chen Zhanghao stared at her coldly, and said with a sneer, it's none of my business. Get lost. After finishing speaking, he kicked over with his good leg, which just happened to land on Aunt Lin's face. What? Aunt Lin let out a scream like killing a pig and fell backwards. At this time, a shout suddenly came from the bedroom, you bastards, get out of here. It turned out to be Aunt Lin's grandson, Xiaohu, who turned his eyes red when he found out that the chocolate biscuits he secretly hid had been found out. He actually took out a fruit knife from the drawer and stabbed it in the ass of a little karami. Under this extremely low temperature, any injury is very fatal. The little karami let out a cry of pain. Turning around and seeing that it was a child who stabbed him, his eyes were even more angry. Fuck, if this kind of thing gets out, how will he mess around in the future? I fuck Nima. Little Karami was so angry that he kicked Xiaohu's stomach with all his strength. An adult kicking with all his strength is simply not something this 6-year-old child can bear. He let out a scream, and flew up into the air, then slammed into the wall fiercely, and slid to the ground like a ball of garbage. There is a saying that beating someone is like hanging a painting, and the scene is very similar to what that sentence describes. So much so that Chen Zhanghao and others laughed happily when they saw this scene. Ha ha ha. Old 5, when did you practice such good leg skills? It actually kicked that little bastard away, it's amazing. And the little Karami, nicknamed the 5th, pulled out the knife on his buttocks, and said triumphantly, "Is he handsome? You should really let you take a picture of that scene just now." Aunt Lin herself was injured and wanted to lie on the ground and pretend to be dead. But seeing his beloved grandson being kicked so hard, he cried out in despair, "Zia Ohu, my grandson." He rushed towards Zia Ohu. And Chen Zhanghao pointed at Aunt Lin and said righteously, "This is the price you paid for deceiving your neighbors. I am doing justice for the heavens." After speaking, a group of people laughed and left Aunt Lin's house with their trophies. Seeing this cruel scene, Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. Seeing the despicable and shameless Aunt Lin's family being beaten, Zhang Yi was naturally very happy in his heart, and he would not sympathize with them at all. However, this scene also represented that the entire owner's building, the original rules of a civilized society, had begun to show cracks. Next, there will be more and more brutal things. After all, as long as a corner of the complete ice surface is cracked, it will expand rapidly. Hey, it's a pity that it doesn't have much to do with me. It's so boring to watch them fight their lives and die for a little material, but I can only lie flat at home. Zhang Yi lay on the imported sofa, sighed with a smile. Later, he sent the video he had captured to the owner group of their building. In the owner group, those cheated owners are still scolding Aunt Lin. Until I saw this video sent by Zhang Yi. In the video, Aunt Lin's house was broken down by Chen Zhanghao, and then she and her grandson were beaten violently, and all the defrauded supplies were taken away. The owners were immediately delighted. Ha ha ha, big liar, you deserve it. Brother How is mighty. To deal with this kind of person, you should use thunder. This is the price of a liar. Hee hee, stealing a chicken won't cost you a lot of rice, what a joke. Although the owners who were defrauded of supplies knew that it was impossible for Chen Zhanghao to return the supplies that Chen Zhanghao took away. But seeing Aunt Lin being beaten violently, they were still happy from the bottom of their hearts. For a while, some people thought Chen Zhanghao was a hero and praised him. Brother How is mighty. As expected of a big brother in society, he just has a sense of justice. If it wasn't for Brother How, we would really have nothing to do with a shameless scum like her. Brother How, be careful. This old bastard is shameless and ruthless. Be careful that she will report you to the police. There were even some people who were worried about Chen Zhanghao and offered advice for him. This time, Chen Zhanghao can be said to have gained both fame and fortune. He did not arouse collective resistance from the owners, and he also obtained a large amount of supplies. Zhang Yi looked at the owner's chat, but curled his lips and shook his head with a sneer. These owners are unaware of a problem. Chen Zhanghao could break into Aunt Lin's house and rob him today, and one day he could also break into theirs. And as people gradually lose hope in everything outside, this kind of thing will come quickly. However, seeing that the owners can still chat freely in the group also proves the situation. That is, in everyone's hands, there are actually certain materials. The situation of most families is not as miserable as everyone says. Many people in Yulu community work in the warehouse area, and they have the habit of hoarding supplies at home. Even if you don't work in the warehouse area, you will buy discounted goods through various channels and put them at home. A box of instant noodles is enough to save a family of 3 for 4 or 5 days. Therefore, even now it is very difficult for everyone to have enough food and clothing. But if you save a little, you can still survive for a period of time. In the last life, Zhang Yi lasted for a full month before being rushed to the door by his frantically hungry neighbors and sharing the food alive. Wealth does not leak out, everyone understands this truth in their hearts. The reason why they are crying poor one by one there is because they are afraid that others will ask them to borrow supplies. Of course. They are just struggling to survive. If it is about the quality of life, that kind of thing basically has nothing to do with them now. Zhang Yi no longer reads the messages in the chat group. He took out an archery target from a different space and placed it on the wall. Then pick up your hand crossbow and compound bow and start practicing shooting skills. Even if his safe house is as strong as a steel fortress, But living in the last days, he must not slack off in the slightest. Only by practicing survival skills unremittingly every day can you survive to the end. Moreover, practicing shooting is also a good way of entertainment for Zhang Yi. As for marksmanship, there is no need for him to practice. He has a membership card of the Design Association and knows how to use firearms. Although it can't be said that the marksmanship is superb, but the gun is a huge deterrent as long as it is held in the hand. There are only, rounds of bullets, and they are not recyclable like arrows, so it is better to save some. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 1 yuan for a pack of instant noodles. Aunt Lin was robbed of her family's supplies by Chen Zhenghao, and she and her grandson Xiaohu were also beaten up. The old women held their breath, but they were still able to move. But her grandson, Xiaohu, was kicked hard in the stomach by Chen Zhenghao's little karami. The 6-year-old child couldn't bear being kicked like this, and his internal organs had problems. In desperation, she could only ask for help in the owner group, hoping that someone could help save her grandson. However, due to her defrauding of supplies before, everyone was particularly disgusted with her, and no one was willing to help her. He is still a child, please save him. Aunt Lin burst into tears in the group, her voice full of despair. The owners had no sympathy for her. Instead, someone laughed. Who knows if it's true or not this time? Yes, besides, we are not doctors, and we don't have the ability to help you. If you hadn't lied to everyone about the supplies first, would Brother Hao beat your grandson? In the end, you asked for it yourself. Aunt Lin broke down and cried loudly, thousands of mistakes are my fault, as long as you can save my grandson, I will kowtow to you. At this moment, a woman named Jokier sent a message. Let me show the child. But I can't guarantee that he will be cured. When Zhang Yi saw Jokier's news, an image of a tall and proud sister Yu with a long ponytail immediately appeared in his mind. Jokier is a doctor at the #1 People's Hospital in Xianhe City. In her previous life, she used her medical knowledge to treat many people. One of the few nice guys in the neighborhood. She is a bit aloof on weekdays, and doesn't like to talk in the owner group. This time, seeing Xiaohu's life was in danger, he stood up and spoke out. At this time, Aunt Lin also remembered that there was such a doctor in the community, and hurriedly sent the child there with gratitude. Half an hour later, Aunt Lin's anxious voice sounded again in the group. Who has hemostatic drugs, anti-shock drugs and antibiotics in their home? My little tiger needs an operation, please help. I kowtow to you. Lin Xiaohu was seriously injured, his liver was ruptured by that kick. Although Zhou Tuner is a doctor, he doesn't have so many medicines at home. When the owners heard Aunt Lin's cry for help, they all smiled and said nothing. Just kidding, no one will have these medicines at home. Chen Zhenghao was still making sarcastic remarks in the group. How do you kowtow? Do you kowtow in a group? Suddenly, there was a large ha-ha-ha laughter. Aunt Lin's voice was full of tears. As long as you can help, I will knock now. Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. Not to mention, he has all these drugs in his different space. However, he would never take it out to save Lin Xiaohu. In the last days, medicine is as important as food, and he doesn't want to expose it. Secondly, he really hates Aunt Lin and that spoiled monkey kid. Besides, with such a serious injury, even if he barely survived, he would not be able to survive the long winter. It's better to keep these drugs and use them yourself. No matter how Aunt Lin pleaded in the group, no one stood up to help her. After a long time, Dr. Zhou Tuner sent a message in the group. Said that she had temporarily helped Lin Xiaohu stop the injury, but it was only an emergency treatment and it would not last long. After that, you must go to the hospital for surgery to keep the child alive. She also said that if everyone encounters an emergency, she can help with treatment. Soon a bunch of rainbow farts follow. Even Chen Zhenghao and the rich second-generation Suha graciously praised Zhou doctor's benevolence. In the past, everyone was not too cold about this cold female doctor. But at this time, everyone is afraid of death, so they are trying their best to please Jokier. Zhang Yi still did not speak in the chat group, but quietly observed the changes in the situation. In the past few days, Fang Yuqing did not contact him again. Zhang Yi is also happy to be at leisure, but he knows that this White Lotus will definitely come to beg him in the near future. Not looking for him now, just wanting to maintain her poor vanity, she always thinks that she is a superior woman. She will not take the initiative to bow her head to a man. Of course, except for the rich. But what about later? The heavy snow was still falling, and the entire first floor was completely flooded. Let alone leaving the community now, even if you want to leave the gate of the community, you have to face 4 or 5 meters of snow. The depletion of supplies is inevitable. At that time, with this Lianhua's temperament, he will definitely come to Zhang Yi to ask for it. A week has passed since the end of the day. 7 days is not long, but for a group of people who endure the severe cold and can only curl up at home every day, it is longer than 7 years. From the beginning, there was hope in their hearts. By now, almost everyone has realized the reality. The possibility of waiting for rescue at home is already very slim. Because through the internet, they already know that the whole world has encountered a severe snow disaster that is rare in hundreds of thousands of years. The whole world was flooded by a blizzard, and even in some cities in the north, the temperature reached more than -100 degrees, and the blizzard was even bigger, and many cities were directly submerged. Although the official is still using a few channels to encourage everyone to unite and help each other to live well. But looking at the frozen city outside, everyone's heart sank completely. Due to the lack of supplies, the problems caused by it became more and more acute. All the food in Aunt Lin's house was looted by Chen's Henghao, and her grandson was lying on the bed dying, driving her into a state of madness. Crazy clamor in the group all day long, saying that she is the leader of the neighborhood committee, demanding that everyone give her all the supplies. But now, the big guy has learned to be smart, and no one cares about her at all. In the owner group, Zhang, a mother who lives on the 12th floor, suddenly sent a message. Is there any food at home? My child and I haven't eaten for 2 days. I can buy it at a high price. It was this news that caused subtle changes in the owner group. In the past, everyone thought that the disaster would pass soon and the city would be unblocked. So, while there are deals on food, the prices are only several times higher than usual. But now, more and more people have run out of supplies in their homes. At this time, food is life, the hope of survival. Not long after, someone suddenly said, I still have a few packs of instant noodles at home. I can sell them to you if you need them. However, I want 1,000 yuan for a pack. A pack of instant noodles costs 1,000 yuan. This was something unimaginable in the past. Perhaps none of them thought that this transaction would have much impact on the entire owner's building. Zhang Yi rested his chin and looked at the phone, and said lightly, a wonderful thing is about to begin. Zhang didn't reply, apparently still hesitating. At least for now, people still have a glimmer of hope that the snowstorm will pass. At that time, people will still have to live and make money. At this time, Su Hao, the rich second generation who hadn't spoken in the group for a long time, suddenly appeared. I'll pay 2,000 yuan for a pack. I want everything in your family. Chapter 29 Day. The words of the rich second generation Lin Hao directly caused the entire chat group to explode. What? 2,000 yuan for a pack of instant noodles? Did I hear correctly? Hey, don't drive up prices like this. I'm a little scared. Some people said tremblingly, the snow disaster will definitely pass, right? There's really no need for this. What he sent was a voice, but the trembling tone already showed the panic in his heart. People have not completely given up hope. When they open their eyes every morning, they are eager to see the snow stop, the sun rise, and return to normal life. However, the incident of treasure mother Zhang and rich second-generation Chen Hao buying food at a high price deeply touched the already fragile string in their hearts. Someone pretended to be calm and said, stop joking, 2,000 yuan for a pack of instant noodles? I really think the world is ending, ha ha ha. It's just that the snow is falling a little bit harder. This year's winter has come earlier. It's not a zombie siege, as for it. Seeing the news, Zhang Yi smiled lightly and shook his head. Zombie siege? Don't compare that kind of low-end thing to this ice doomsday. Although zombies are terrifying, they can still be countered by manpower. However, in the face of natural disasters, insignificant human beings are as vulnerable as bugs in front of the power of the universe. They still don't know what kind of terrible disaster they are facing. Su Hao said arrogantly in the group, don't worry about it so much. Anyway, I'm rich, can I spend money to buy a peace of mind? If you want to sell it, you can trust me privately, And if you don't want it, just let me down. Su Hao pretended not to care. But Zhang Yi has already seen that his indifference is just a disguise. In fact, he has already started to be afraid. Otherwise, he would not be able to offer a sky-high price of 2,000 yuan for a pack of instant noodles. This matter is not difficult to think about. Although Su Hao is very rich, with a net worth of hundreds of millions. But at the moment of the apocalypse, let alone enjoying the life of the rich in style, he can't even order a takeaway. Rich people may not be kind, but they are definitely not stupid. Realizing the seriousness of the crisis, Su Hao began to buy supplies from neighbors at high prices. Bao's mother Zilimi said excitedly, "You, how can you do this? Our family is out of food. Buying food is life-saving." Su Hao said very bachelorly, "I didn't compete with you, but I asked for a higher price. Everyone is free to sell to whomever they want. Are you in control?" Zilimi saw that Su Hao didn't care about her, so she cried in the group, "Please help us, my daughter is only 9 months old. I have nothing to eat, so I have no milk for her. Both of us will starve to death." In the owner group, Zilimi's words remained silent. At this time, the selfish side of human nature is fully displayed. Su Hao offered a price of 2,000 yuan for a pack of instant noodles. The price Zilihu gave is only half of others. You know, the per capita salary in Xianhe City is only 5,000 yuan. Who is willing to sell the materials they have saved so hard to you at a low price? Many people have already chatted with Su Hao in private, and then started to talk about transactions. Zilimi seemed to realize what happened, and continued to cry in the group, asking everyone to help her. But still no one spoke, not even one to comfort her. After all, if you open your mouth, Zilimi may feel that you are soft-hearted, and then bite you to death. The helpless mother cried out in agony. She has an 8-month-old child, and now she is struggling to take care of herself, let alone a baby who is completely incapable of autonomy. In Zhang Yi's mind, memories of Zilimi from his previous life emerged. He didn't have a deep impression of Zilimi, because this woman had always presented herself as a weak mother, relying on this to win sympathy in exchange for supplies to survive. However, there is one thing that is very strange. In Zhang Yi's memory, she and her daughter knew that they lived well afterwards. Thinking of this, a bright light flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. This woman is definitely not as simple as she looks. Everything that is pink is black when cut. After she died, she had a high probability of getting a share of the pie. Zhang Yi understands that in the last days, the heart of the Virgin Mary is the biggest cause of death. Therefore, he didn't make a sound and chose to watch Zilimi coldly. There are too many people who died in the doomsday. He just wanted to take care of himself. As for the others, they died as well. However, Zilimi's crying finally played some role. Uncle Yu, the security guard, was soft-hearted and finally agreed to give her some food. Zilimi is very grateful to Uncle Yu, claiming that she will never forget his kindness in her life. Through monitoring, Zhang Yi discovered that Su Hao finally bought supplies from many neighbors relying on his ability to make money. The amount is not too much, but it is enough for him and his girlfriend to survive for a few weeks. Zhang Yi sneered and said, "This is the last residual heat that money can play in the apocalypse. It probably won't take long for people to find that money has become waste paper as supplies are exhausted, and supplies are the absolute king. At that time, I don't know how many people will regret their behavior of selling supplies." It has to be said that Su Hao really made a bad start in the owner group. Moreover, because many owners of the 25-unit buildings in the entire community are friends and colleagues, Su Hao spent a lot of money to buy supplies, which affected everyone around him. After he set a high price for the materials with real money, everyone realized how scarce the materials are now. Everyone clenched the supplies in their hands even more nervously. At the beginning of the snowstorm, some people will share and exchange some supplies with their neighbors in a friendly manner. But now, they have become more stingy than granted. Even if they meet their best friends to borrow food, they will use various excuses to refuse. The end of the ice is coming, the 10th day. At this time, Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning's home. The supplies are almost exhausted. The two people who used to have tricky tastes and like to eat high-end food can now quarrel over a pack of instant noodles. There is not much food left at home that I bought before, as well as the food delivered by Zhou Peng, the dog licking. According to the current situation, if they last another week at most, they will starve to death. The two sat on the sofa wrapped in quilts, their faces were pale, and there was an unpacked package of compressed biscuits on the coffee table in front of them. Lin Canning glanced at the compressed biscuits, and then said to Yuqing, "Yuqing, this is our last pack of compressed biscuits." Fang Yuqing's eyes were full of pain. In the past, this kind of rough food would not allow it to enter her delicate throat, even if she was killed. But now, every time she can eat it cleanly, she can't even bear to throw away the scum that falls on the ground. She must pick it up and eat it. Chapter 30. Lin Canning continued, "There are still 5 packs of crispy noodles and 3 packs of instant noodles. There's half a bottle of lao gan ma in the kitchen, but the steamed buns and dried noodles have long since been eaten." Fang Yuqing clutched her head in pain. Crispy noodles, crispy noodles. You can't get enough of that stuff. Lin Canning stared at her. "Yuqing, the situation outside is very wrong now. Do you think this heavy snow will never stop?" Fang Yuqing froze for a moment, then turned her head and looked out the window in a daze. Through the frosted glass, one can vaguely see the flying snowflakes falling from the sky. It has been 10 days, and the snow has been falling for 10 days without stopping for a moment. The second floor has been completely submerged, and it is impossible to go out. The streets in the distance were dead silent, and there was no movement of snowplows sent by the government. Fang Yuqing's heart sank to the bottom, extremely desperate. She didn't know how long the snowstorm would last. Or, will it ever end? Fang Yuqing covered her eyes and cried in pain, "Ning Ning, what should we do? If this continues, we will starve to death." Lin Canning gritted her teeth and asked, "Is there any food for Zhou Ping?" Fang Yuqing shook her head. "I asked him a few times, and even pretended to make friends with him. But he has really been drained by me. There's not a drop left. Last time he sent me 2 packs of instant noodles, which were his last rations. He's as thin as a zombie now, and he definitely won't have anything to eat." Lin Canning clenched her fist unwillingly. "Then, is there anyone else who can give it a try? Look, the 2 of us are so beautiful. As long as we make a move, there must be a man willing to fall in love with us." Fang Yuqing glanced at her, and said with some dissatisfaction, "Are you stupid? Now everyone treats supplies like life. Even if they are attracted to us, it is impossible to give us the supplies so easily. Plus the weather is so cold, even if we send them to their door for free whoring, they will be powerless." When Fang Yuqing said this, a look of pain flashed in her eyes. Lin Canning didn't know that Fang Yuqing had already tried this method, trying to use her beauty to exchange goods with men. As a result, she set her sights too high. He also asked the other party to be 1 meter tall, a civil servant, and a monthly income of 85 yuan before he was willing to applaud for love with him. As a result, even the neighbor's 60-year-old grandpa said that you came too late. If you had come half a month earlier, I would still be able to fight. Lin Canning bit her lips tightly, feeling very scared in her heart. As a pretty woman, she originally planned to use her beauty as the last reliance for survival. But temperature is obviously an excellent medicine for abstinence. Suddenly, the shadow of a man appeared in her mind. She said to Fang Yuqing, "By the way, Yuqing, have you forgotten that you have a licking dog?" Of course Fang Yuqing knew who Lin Canning was talking about. She pursed her lips and said stubbornly, "HMPH, that stinky man, unless he comes over and begs me to forgive him, I will never take the initiative to find him." She had approached Zhang Yi several times before, and the purpose was to give Zhang Yi a chance to come and deliver supplies to please her. But Zhang Yi's attitude towards her was too cold, and he even sent photos to deliberately stimulate her. This made Fang Yuqing very annoyed, and vowed to let Zhang Yi come over and lick her feet. "If I take the initiative to contact the other party now, wouldn't it ruin my image as a cold goddess? No, this is absolutely not allowed for Fang Yuqing. The image is ruined. How can I find the rich second generation in the future?" Lin Canning said, "Did you forget that Zhang Yi's family had stockpiled a lot of food before? Even after a month, it must be more than ordinary people's family. As soon as you go out to find him, he will definitely promise to bring you food right away." When Fang Yuqing heard about the food, she felt a little moved in her heart. But she said hesitantly, "But, when I looked for him before, he was so indifferent." Lin Canning said, "You are stupid. He must feel that he is not worthy of you, so he wanted to give up. After all, you were quite indifferent to him a while ago." Fang Yuqing immediately became excited. That's not all he asked for. He is obviously a small middle class, and he pretends to be a rich second generation, causing me to waste so much affection. Lin Canning said with a smile, "But he is also a high-quality spare tire now. Isn't the role of the spare tire just to be used as a top when needed? Give him a little smile, and rekindle the fire of hope in his heart. Then won't he let you have whatever you want? Chapter 31 Zhang Yi family is too rich, by Lian Hu is crying. After listening to Lin Caning's persuasion, Fang Yuqing thought it was quite reasonable. And the most important reason is that she is too hungry now. Thinking of the pictures that Zhang Yi sent her before, those steaks, Australian dragons, and dim sum fruits, Fang Yuqing's mouth was full of saliva. All the restraint can be put down temporarily for that one bite. So she took out her mobile phone, found Zhang Yi's WeChat, and sent a voice in a gentle tone as much as possible. Zhang Yi was at home, sitting on the sofa watching TV programs. Nowadays, all major TV stations around the world have basically stopped broadcasting, but he has already downloaded many classic film and television programs and variety shows. In order to pass this long boring time conveniently. Ding dong. The phone rang. Zhang Yi took it over and saw that it was Fang Yuqing. A playful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This woman's poor self-confidence finally couldn't hold on anymore. He clicked on the voice, and immediately heard Fang Yuqing's trembling clip. HMPH, Zhang Yi, you stinky brother. You haven't chatted with me for so many days, you're really dead. Isn't it just that I said a few words about you a few days ago? In fact, I regretted it at that time. But she's a girl, so I'm sorry to speak first. You stinky brother, you don't know how to feel sorry for her. As a green tea white lotus, Fang Yuqing is very good at acting cute. Otherwise, Zhang Yi wouldn't have been taken aback in his previous life. It has to be said that Zhang Yi's bones were a little crisp when he heard her whining voice. He gritted his teeth. This little bastard, if she didn't know the viciousness of her heart, she really wanted to kill her. Zhang Yi replied with a message. I'm not in good health recently, probably because I'm sick, so I don't bother to read WeChat. Upon hearing this, Fang Yuqing quickly asked, Are you sick? Are you catching a cold? You must keep warm in this weather. No, I have a fever and a cold. Zhang Yi replied. Seeing the news sent by Zhang Yi, Fang Yuqing looked dull. Feverish cold? What are you teasing me? Now the room temperature in their home has reached -50 or 60 degrees. I have to wrap myself in a quilt every day, and hug Li Canning together to keep warm, and I can't sleep well when it's cold every day. You said you have a fever and a cold? Zhang Yi, don't be joking. How can you have a cold in such a cold day? Zhang Yi sent a curious expression. Is it cold? Oh, I have a fireplace in my room, but I don't feel much. When this thing burned, the room was very hot and unbearable. I probably fell ill while sitting in front of the fire a few days ago. As Zhang Yi said, he took a photo of the burning fireplace with his mobile phone. In the photo, he also took pictures of his bare legs. And inadvertently, he also photographed the piles of snacks on his coffee table, as well as the leftover lamb chops and chicken legs. Then, he sent the photo to Fang Yuqing. Fang Yuqing saw the photo sent by Zhang Yi. If the previous photos just made her feel a little sour, then this photo directly made her jealous eyes blaze. Fireplace. This is an artifact of heating. Even in the far north, there is no problem with burning this in the house, even if it is tens of degrees below zero outside. The heating capacity of this thing is even more powerful than that of a radiator. After all, it can be warmed up by a nearby fire. Fang Yuqing almost lost consciousness all over her body after being frozen for 10 days. Now, besides food, what she desires the most is a means of heating. A few days ago, she and Lin Canning burned a chair in the room to keep warm. Although the heat was only maintained for a short period of 10 minutes, the high temperature of the flame made her cry on the spot. However, there are not many things that can be burned at home. After the burn was over, she could only remember that feeling. Who would have thought that Zhang Yi would have such a thing as a fireplace in his house? Xianhe City is a southern city. You don't need to wear down jackets in winter. Who would install a fireplace in their house? Fang Yuqing didn't have time to think about this question. Her eyes were fixed on the photo, and there was only one thought in her heart. She wanted to go to Zhang Yi's house. Looking at Zhang Yi's chic appearance with bare legs and a lot of food on the table, Zhang Yi has become Fang Yuqing's greatest hope at this moment. Lin Canning, who was curled up in the quilt next to her, noticed a change in Fang Yuqing's expression. She leaned her head over to take a look, and soon she was dumbfounded, and exclaimed, My God! This photo can't be peas, right? How can someone live such a good life at a time like this? This is heaven. Fang Yuqing suddenly woke up. Yes, everyone is starving and freezing at home now. How can Zhang Yi live so comfortably? Maybe this photo, and the previous photos are all posted by him. With an idea, she made a video call to Zhang Yi. Whether it is true or false, you only need to look at it to know. Lin Keining also moved her head closer and stared at the screen. When Zhang Yi saw the call invitation, his expression was a little playful. He really wanted to see how this White Lotus humbly begged him. If you can't watch her die in despair, how can you be worthy of yourself who died tragically in the previous life? So he reached out and picked up the call. As soon as the phone was connected, both parties saw each other's current situation. Zhang Yi had just finished exercising, and was lying lazily on the sofa with his upper body naked. The lights in the room are bright, and there are fitness equipment behind him. You can vaguely see a lot of ingredients piled up in the kitchen. Occasionally, he would cook some meals by himself as leisure. So in the kitchen, a few boxes of scallops, fish maw, and abalone were randomly put in, as well as kebao eating instant noodles, and high-end canned foods such as caviar and truffles. For him, these things are a quick snack to be savored every once in a while. But for the two women on the other side of the camera, it was simply the most beautiful food in their dreams. Compared with Zhang Yi's comfort and ease, Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining on the other side of the camera look very embarrassed. The two were wrapped in thick quilts, and because the temperature was too low, many cosmetics could not be used at all, so they looked a little haggard. It's not as refined as it looked in the past. When Zhang Yi saw Fang Yuqing, there was a trace of disappointment in Zhang Yi's eyes. The goddess he pursued so hard in the past turned out to be nothing more than that without makeup, at most 6 points. Thinking that he had been obsessed with Asian magic for so long, he cursed secretly in his heart, Shakit, Ziba old horse. The two women didn't notice Zhang Yi's expression. At this time, their eyes were completely attracted by the things in Zhang Yi's house. The naked upper body means that the indoor temperature of Zhang Yi's house is absolutely very comfortable. Bright lights, they dare not even think about it in the days when the electricity is limited for less than an hour every day. After all, there are official regulations that they are not allowed to use high-power electrical appliances, otherwise they will be forced to cut off the power. Especially in the kitchen, the mountain of food piled up made the eyes of the two women who had eaten compressed food for a long time glow green. Chapter 32 White Lotus. Through the video call, Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining saw Zhang Yi's current living conditions. The pleasant temperature and rich food made them completely dumbfounded, as if they saw heaven. They probably couldn't imagine that after 10 days of the end, there are still people who can live so comfortably. Zhang Yi asked lightly, "How are you doing recently? You've lost weight, congratulations." Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining really wanted to scold their mothers. Are they trying to lose weight? That's all hungry. Now they only dare to eat a pack of instant noodles every day, otherwise, the supplies in the house would have been exhausted long ago. Lin Keining's eyes were fixed on the food at Zhang Yi's house. She swallowed her saliva and said greedily, "Zhang Yi, why does your family have so much food? Was it the last time we went shopping together? The ones you hoarded?" Zhang Yi glanced at the kitchen, and said lightly, "What you said is just junk food. I eat a little when I'm too lazy to cook. I basically don't move much." What Zhang Yi said was the truth. In his different space, delicious things piled up like mountains. After all, he has ordered countless delicacies from various restaurants. And it is said that among the tens of billions of materials in the Walmart warehouse, there are 10,000 plus kinds of food. His understatement, to Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining, was a blatant show of wealth. After all, a pack of instant noodles has been fired up to 2,000 yuan a pack among their owners. Zhang Yi could clearly see that their throats were constantly wriggling, apparently swallowing saliva. But Zhang Yi didn't say anything, just quietly admiring their longing eyes. Brother Zhang Yi's family eats a lot. It's amazing. Now many people outside can't eat. Hee, you're still smart. No wonder you bought so many things back then, so you already had plans. Fang Yuqing said with a smile. For the first time, she called Zhang Yi brother Zhang Yi. The corners of Zhang Yi's mouth curled up slightly. "Hey, what's the matter? It's just good luck." Fang Yuqing asked again, "Brother Zhang Yi, your house looks so warm. And it's not the time for power supply, why is your house so bright?" Fang Yuqing asked her biggest doubt. There is nothing more desirable than being warm in a state of extreme cold. Zhang Yi smiled faintly, turned the phone camera over and pointed it at the fireplace. "We have a fireplace in our house. This thing is very warm, and the inside of the house is uncomfortably hot. He also deliberately said, by the way, you look very cold. Is it really that cold outside now? I haven't gone out for more than 10 days, and I don't know what's going on outside. Zhang Yi's words can be said to have filled up the hatred value. How could he not know what was going on outside? Just through the chat group of the owners, you can see everyone's miserable situation and know how low the temperature of other people's homes is. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining were itching with hatred in their hearts. They knew that Zhang Yi said that on purpose. However, I can't bear to live in heaven now, it is the capital of Versailles. Fang Yuqing has only one idea now, and that is to live in Zhang Yi's house. Because of Zhang Yi's condition, their family's food is very sufficient. Coupled with the warm environment, who cannot yearn for it? Fang Yuqing immediately put on a weak and pitiful look, blinked her eyes, and said sweetly, Brother Zhang Yi, you are so powerful. People adore you so much. Can you let me visit your house? I haven't seen you for a long time. Yuqing misses you so much. Fang Yuqing felt that her trick would definitely work. After all, before, she relied on this trick to make many licking dogs around her obey her orders. What's more, Zhang Yi also pursued her back then. She thought that as long as a goddess like herself used a little trick, Zhang Yi would definitely agree to her request. As long as she can enter Zhang Yi's house, she will naturally have more ways to live confidently. Big deal, just give Zhang Yi a little bit of sweetness. Men, aren't they all like this? But she didn't expect that Zhang Yi on the other side of the camera would only feel nauseous when he saw her swollen face. He really began to wonder if his past self was mentally ill, otherwise why would he chase after this kind of woman for 2 years? In the past, they all worked in the warehouse area, and there were relatively few female employees. Fang Yuqing is good at being coquettish and cute, and also good at dressing up, so as time goes by, Zhang Yi regards her as a goddess. In love brain mode, once the goddess filter is turned on, Fang Yuqing becomes the white moonlight in his mind. But since he was betrayed to death in his last life, this goddess filter has completely disappeared. Looking at Fang Yuqing with no makeup on the other side of the camera, Zhang Yi didn't feel the slightest fluctuation in his heart. It even feels artificial and makes people get goosebumps all over. The corner of his mouth curled into a slight mocking arc, then leaning on the sofa, resting his cheek in one hand, he said lazily, "It's such a cold day, you'd better rest at home. Don't come out and run around." Well, although I don't know how cold it is outside. But from the looks of you, the temperature should be quite low. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining probably did not expect to be rejected by Zhang Yi. The two of them froze for a moment, their eyes filled with disbelief. Fang Yuqing's eyes were filled with shock and grievance. In her eyes, Zhang Yi is a good spare tire. As long as she hooks her finger, the opportunity will obediently come to serve her. Now she offered to go to Zhang Yi's house, but the other party refused without even thinking about it. This seriously hid her self-confidence. What made her even more uncomfortable was Zhang Yin's Versailles tone. No, she cannot accept such a result. She clearly knows that there is a warm spring-like paradise with plenty of food in her apartment building, but she can only suffer from hunger at home. She absolutely cannot accept it. She is a goddess. Fang Yuqing's face froze for a moment, and then she smiled again. Brother Zhang Yi, stop joking with Yuqing. Didn't you treat Yuqing the best before? Why, you don't let people want to see you. They don't say anything else. She pursed her lips and showed an aggrieved expression, which really made me feel sorry for her. After the average man sees it, he will probably feel pity, and then the machismo will overflow, and he will agree to her request on the spot. Zhang Yi was the exception. Since being betrayed to death by Fang Yuqing, he no longer has any feelings for this woman other than hatred. Zhang Yi said, "In the past, every time I asked you to come to my house, you used all kinds of excuses, saying that we are all single men and women, so it would not be good to spread the word. I think you're right. We have nothing to do with each other. We should keep our distance. Save yourself from gossiping." When Zhang Yi pursued Fang Yuqing before, it took a lot of effort to get her to come out for a meal or watch a movie. To prepare gifts, prepare surprises, and book a high-end hotel to have a chance. When he wanted to go further and ask Fang Yuqing to his own home, she always had various excuses. Now, Zhang Yi took out those words she had said back then, and jokingly returned them to her. Chapter 33. Fang Yuqing's face changed slightly. After all, she was still a bit out of touch with what she had done in the past. But why would the little fairy feel embarrassed? especially when facing the spare tire in her eyes who want anything and everything. Even though Zhang Yi's attitude towards her was still indifferent, Fang Yuqing thought that he was just playing hard to get. She firmly believed that Zhang Yi was in love with her, and as long as she worked harder, she would definitely be able to take Zhang Yi down. So she said coquettishly again, "They did that for your own good in the past. Brother Zhang Yi, don't be so narrow-minded. Just treat it as Kinger's fault, okay? I'll go over now and make amends to you." As she spoke, she bit her lip lightly, and a blush appeared on her face. "It's a big deal. Let me beat your legs and rub your shoulders for you." Zhang Yi couldn't help shouting in his heart, "Fuck." In such a cold day, it is rare for her to act like a shy girl with such superb acting skills. It's a pity not to be a movie queen. It's a pity that Zhang Yi doesn't like this. How can that be done? We are not boyfriend and girlfriend. I can't accept such an intimate thing. Zhang Yi said with a straight face, "I am a traditional person." Fang Yuqing was almost blown away by Zhang Yi's words. She is about to take the initiative to deliver it to her door. Why are you pretending to be reserved? Does she have to be so straightforward? As long as you let her live at home, there will be a lot of benefits in the future. Even hitting base isn't entirely out of the question. She felt that maybe her words did not make it clear. In order to be able to enter Zhang Yi's house and live a life like heaven, she didn't care about Lin Caning beside her. He said directly to Zhang Yi, "Brother Zhang Yi, in fact, he has always had a special affection for you. It's not impossible to consider male and female friends in the future. After all, love grows after a long time." Then, she pretended to be shy and covered her face again. "Oh, it's so embarrassing. How much do you want people to say so bluntly?" Her shy appearance, combined with her small eyes that want to refuse but still welcome, is really alluring. If it were Zhang Yi from before, he would definitely let her in right away with a sudden heat. It has to be said that green tea and white lotus are not something anyone can make. This kind of tea art can't be done without 10 years of skill. And Zhang Yi quickly thought about it in his mind. "Do you want to let Fang Yuqing, the white lotus, into your house? Don't get me wrong, he's no saint. He just simply felt that he also pursued her for 2 years. If he could hit the base, whipping her severely would be an explanation for the past. But this idea only surfaced for a moment, and he was firmly rejected by him. Because now is the end, he must completely eliminate any possible risk. Therefore, he will not open the door and let others into his impregnable house. To be alive is more important than anything else." Zhang Yi sneered, looking at Fang Yuqing with mockery in his eyes. "Fang Yuqing, did you misunderstand something?" He spread his hands and said, "I admit that we had a good relationship for a while." However, he moved his head closer to the camera, and said with a teasing look on his face, "You don't think I like you, do you?" For a confident green tea white lotus, this sentence is too lethal. Sure enough, Fang Yuqing's expression became very ugly after hearing this sentence. Lin Caning on the side also took a sneak peek at her, with a trace of undetectable joy in his eyes. Sure enough, the girlfriends are all plastic sisters. On the surface, they care about you for your own good, but in fact, there are many people who want you to be embarrassed. Fang Yuqing asked, "Brother Zhang Yi, what do you mean? Didn't you like Kinger the most in the past?" Zhang Yi sneered. "Don't get me wrong, you are indeed pretty, a beautiful sister. But I never planned to fall in love with you, at most it was just for fun." Based on Zhang Yi's conditions, it is really not difficult to find a girlfriend with good looks and figure in Xianhe City. Poof, where did you get the confidence to think that I'm chasing you hard? Zhang Yi looked like he couldn't help laughing. He was telling the truth. As a native of Xianhe City, he had a registered permanent residence in Xianhe City. There is a multi-million-dollar house in the family, and there are several million deposits on hand, and a stable job with a monthly salary of over. Coupled with his tall and handsome appearance, he is definitely a high-quality man in the blind date market in Xianhe City. Otherwise, Fang Yuqing would not list him as her first choice after failing to catch golden turtles. If it wasn't for Zhang Yi's simplicity and kindness in his previous life, if he knew how to play a little bit, he would have changed many women around him. Zhang Yi's words were like knives that directly pierced Fang Yuqing's heart. For a self-proclaimed goddess by Lianhua, the most unacceptable thing is that her charm is not recognized, because that is all she needs to survive. In the past, she thought Zhang Yi was just a spare tire licking the dog. She can hang Zhang Yi while looking for the rich second generation. In the end, Zhang Yi told her that she was the fish in that fish pond. This made Fang Yuqing unacceptable no matter what. Her angry voice changed. Zhang Yi. You, don't go too far. Zhang Yi sneered and continued to increase his strength. Okay, don't pretend to be a pure and beautiful girl with me. I've seen it for a long time. Aren't you just a fishing girl? You think about fishing for a rich man every day. Do you think rich people are fools? By the way, let me tell you one more thing. You are well known in the rich second-generation circle in Xianhe City. To lick young Master Zhang today, and to chase young Master Li tomorrow. He just played with you for a few days. Do you really think you can be the young mistress of a rich family? Know what they call you in private? Bus, public outlet. Zhang Yi unscrupulously mocked Fang Yuqing. When she thought she was very attractive and wanted to impress Zhang Yi with her beauty, and let her go to Zhang Yi's home to enjoy the blessings. Fang Yuqing's face was frighteningly pale, and her body trembled from being too angry. When had she been so humiliated face to face? Moreover, she was still so ruthlessly ridiculed by the spare tire-licking dog in her eyes. This is completely pressing her self-esteem to the ground and rubbing wildly. Zhang Yi. Shut up. Fang Yuqing roared angrily. Zhang Yi sneered and said, I'm just telling the truth. Why are you excited? Did you do all these things yourself? It's really up and down. After finishing speaking, Zhang Yi cut off the call without giving Fang Yuqing a chance to scold. Chapter 34. Zhang Yi scolded Fang Yuqing severely, and revealed her nature of being a white lotus and green tea whore. This hit Fang Yuqing deeply. Although she worships money, has promiscuity, and plays with men's feelings, she thinks she is a good girl. Being ridiculed by Zhang Yi like this deeply broke her self-confidence. After all, even a petty bourgeoisie like Zhang Yi can despise her so much, which shows that she is not attractive enough at all, and she has no chance to hook up with a rich second generation and become a rich wife. After Zhang Yi hung up the call, he soon saw Fang Yuqing send a series of voice messages. Don't listen, everyone knows they are scolding Zhang Yi. But does Zhang Yi care? Of course he doesn't care. Under the apocalypse, this white lotus will die day by day in the extreme low temperature and hunger. Zhang Yi just teased her, watching her miserable condition. How could he be angry with a dead man? Instead, seeing Bai Lianhua's distraught appearance, he felt a sense of joy in his heart. Ho ha ho ha. Zhang Yi laughed heartily. He came to the kitchen and took out a bottle of Romani Conti from the refrigerator. This bottle of wine is worth 20 yuan, and when it was in Walmart's warehouse, it was also kept in a temperature-controlled wine cabinet. Zhang Yi doesn't have many such wines, only dozens of boxes. I'm in a good mood today, let's take it out to celebrate. There will be no shortage of electricity in the home, and the circuit has been modified during the renovation. Hooked up as backup power, as well as a noiseless generator. Energy, he is not lacking at all. He came to the living room and filled the table with a delicious meal in a very ceremonial manner. French baked snails, tomahawk steak, stargazing, Jinling salted duck, and a bottle of 20 Romani Conti. In the last days, all the rules of social inertia are rapidly disappearing. Zhang Yi doesn't pay attention to so many rules when eating, he can eat whatever he wants, and match it with whatever he wants. He can even eat caviar as a meal. This kind of luxurious life is probably the only one in the world today. Because of the sudden arrival of the end, even the most powerful and wealthy people in the world have no time to make adequate preparations. For example, Su Hao, whose father is also a well-known boss of a large group in Xianhe City. But in Zhang Yi's memory, his father died half a month after the end of the world. After all, his wealth has become waste paper, and that bloated old man does not have the necessary ability to survive in the doomsday. At this time, Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning were in the house shared by Lin Caning. Fang Yuqing's mentality collapsed, she beat things angrily, and cursed Zhang Yi. If it was normal, she might not be so angry. But now, it happened that she saw Zhang Yi's family happy like heaven. A warm and comfortable environment and plenty of high-end delicacies are the most precious things in the frozen doomsday. She couldn't step into the heaven that was so close at hand, which made her totally unacceptable. Zhang Yi, damn you, you dare to scold me. If it wasn't for the current snow disaster, I wouldn't even look at you straight in the eye. Fang Yuqing scolded through gritted teeth. On the sofa beside her, Lin Caning stared at her with a look of contempt flashing in her eyes. It's not that you played it before, or now, we can also enjoy the delicious food in Zhang Yi's house, as well as the warm fireplace. Fang Yuqing snorted coldly, what is he? Doesn't he just have a house and some savings? Fang Yuqing, want to marry into a wealthy family and become a rich wife? Lin Caning frowned, but now, Zhang Yi has so much food in his hands, and there is a fireplace at home to keep warm. This is much better than the rich second generation. She looked out the window, and there was a lot of snow, which showed no sign of stopping. In the past 2 days, according to the outside news obtained by mobile phones, the whole world is shrouded in ice and snow. She said worriedly, "Will this snowstorm continue forever?" On TV, the few remaining official channels are still encouraging people. The experts, wearing thick down jackets, said tremblingly that the disaster would pass soon. We, the people, have strength, and persistence means victory. But with everything in front of us, how can there be any sign of the disaster in the past? Lin Caning hugged herself tightly. If the snow keeps falling, then even if we don't freeze to death, we will starve to death at home. Lin Caning's words made Fang Yuqing's inner anger instantly turn into fear. It's been 10 days, and they have been confined at home for 10 days. These 10 days are longer than 10 years if you haven't experienced this kind of thing. You can't understand how tormented it is. It can even throw a person's mind into turmoil. Even Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning are a combination of green tea and white lotus. But as women in their 20s, their hearts are also very fragile. Facing the heavy snow that didn't know when it would stop, they thought of death. Fang Yuqing curled up on the sofa. Zhang Yi's warm and well-fed home appeared in her mind again. She said sadly and angrily, "It's not fair. How can Zhang Yi live so comfortably? I am so beautiful, but life so miserably." Lin Caning glanced at Fang Yuqing, but said nothing. She wrapped herself in the quilt, took out her mobile phone and found Zhang Yi from the address book. Soon, Zhang Yi received a message from Lin Caning. Zhang Yi was drinking top-quality red wine, paired with a luxurious meal. Seeing a message coming, his eyes were filled with mockery. In the apocalypse, watching women like them struggle in pain is really more exciting than watching a movie. Zhang Yi glanced at the message sent by Lin Caning. "Zhang Yi, I saw you scolding Fang Yuqing just now. I'm so happy for you. Actually, I have long known that Fang Yuqing is a woman who worships money, and I have never really taken you seriously. I always hoped that one day you would be able to see her true colors." "Great, congratulations on waking up." Zhang Yi chuckled. It's really plastic sisters who sold Fang Yuqing so quickly. But this is also normal, as the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together, and people are divided into groups. Both Lin Caning and Fang Yuqing are not good birds. He replied, "Well, nothing." Lin Caning continued, "In the past, seeing you pursuing Fang Yuqing all the time, I was actually very sad in my heart. Zhang Yi, actually, I have always liked you, do you know that? Now you don't want Fang Yuqing anymore, let's be together." Zhang Yi almost spit out the red wine he just drank. "Fuck, this girl hunter is straightforward enough." He shook his head. "Tisk tisk tisk, the realistic group. It seems that her life has been miserable enough for the past 10 days. In the past, Lin Caning was honest with Zhang Yi. Although her own conditions are not very good, it does not affect her feeling that she is a fairy. Now seeing that Zhang Yi rejected Fang Yuqing, and seeing that the quality of life in Zhang Yi's family is so high, I immediately wanted to take advantage of it. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 The Plastic Sisters. Zhang Yi sighed. "This woman doesn't think I'm a junk collector, does she? Although Fang Yuqing is a green tea and white lotus, at least she knows how to act coquettishly and flirtatiously, and she can also dress up. What else do you, Lin Caning, do besides being cheap and narcissistic?" But out of bad taste, Zhang Yi still smirked and said, "Oh, is that really the case? But I just scolded Fang Yuqing severely. You two are good girlfriends. If you follow me, won't it affect your relationship?" Lin Caning's eyes lit up, feeling something was going on. She said without hesitation, "What girlfriends? We are just sharing a room together." In order to gain Zhang Yi's trust, she told all the dirty things about Fang Yuqing. "You don't know how much I despise her. This woman is very lazy. These days, she said that she is afraid of the cold and doesn't want to go to the toilet. She uses mineral water bottles to pee. I'm so disgusted. Don't look at her pretending to be innocent, but she actually goes to nightclubs to find men every day. If she meets the rich second generation, she will find ways to reciprocate. If you don't have enough money to spend, go out and sell it. Otherwise, she only earns 5,000 yuan a month, so how can she have so much money to buy cosmetics and designer bags? It's only 1,500 a night, it's very low. Huh? I don't look down on this kind of woman at all. It was also the first time Zhang Yi knew that Fang Yuqing had such a side job. He gritted his teeth, feeling more and more that this world is too absurd. Fortunately, he is not stupid. Although he chases Fang Yuqing, he is not a poor-licking dog like Zhou Peng. In order to gain Zhang Yi's trust, Lin Kaining continued to expose Fang Yuqing's scandals. Don't look at her pretending to be innocent. In fact, she has beaten several children. When she was in college, she let several contractors support her for 4 years. Zhang Yi watched silently, and then made a screen recording of what she said. In Lin Kaining's heart, it was obvious that Fang Yuqing had already had a problem with Fang Yuqing. After all, Fang Yuqing is better at acting like a baby than she is and prettier than her, which makes Lin Kaining only serve as a foil by her side. In this world, how many women are willing to be other people's green leaves? Otherwise, do you think that in college, why are the girlfriends of wandering goddesses usually ugly and fat girls? After Lin Kaining finished venting Yuqing's emotions, she continued to confess Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, do you know how sad it is for me to watch you pursue Fang Yuqing all these years? Now I finally have a chance to confess my love to you. Let me be your girlfriend. I will definitely love you in the future. And at this time, you are lonely at home, aren't you? There's a woman by your side who can help you with many things. Lin Kaining is already telling Zhang Yi that as long as she is allowed to go to Zhang Yi's house, Zhang Yi can play whatever he wants. But it's a pity that Zhang Yi doesn't like this kind of stuff at all. He backhandedly forwarded the chat records of the two to Fang Yuqing. Then he said to Lin Kaining, although I am very touched, let's forget about this matter. Lin Kaining asked unwillingly, why? Don't you need a woman now? Zhang Yi endured the nausea in his stomach, and said to the phone, I like women, yes. But, you are too ugly. After speaking, Zhang Yi muted the phone and threw it aside. Lin Kaining suddenly changed color after hearing Zhang Yi's voice. He actually said she was too ugly? Slander, this is serious slander. Every time she posted her self-published photos on the internet, many people praised her as a big beauty. Just when Lin Kaining was in a state of desperation, an angry scream came from beside her ear. Lin Kaining, you bitch. When Fang Yuqing saw Lin Kaining insulting her, she instantly lost her temper. The two wrestled together, pulled each other's hair and pinched their arms. He didn't stop until he couldn't move anymore, but he still stared at the opponent fiercely with his eyes. If it wasn't for the cold weather and the need to live under the same roof, they would even have the heart to kill each other. Of course, Lin Kaining knew what happened, and hated Zhang Yi. However, like Fang Yuqing, she might envy Zhang Yi more than she hates Zhang Yi. As long as this time, Zhang Yi agreed to let them enter the room and eat some food. They will all abandon their dignity and crawl over like bitches. On Zhang Yi's side, he still lives a simple and boring life of prosperity. Every night, he turns on the TV to watch news that he never watched before. Although the content of the news broadcast is still a lot of water, but some outside news can be obtained to some extent. Xianhe City officially issued a notice that in order to meet everyone's demand for electricity, power will be supplied from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day. High-power electrical appliances cannot be used, only small-power electrical appliances, such as kettles, mobile phones and other objects can be heated. Currently, the major power stations are in the period of suspension of operation, and there is a shortage of electricity. I hope that everyone will consciously reduce electricity consumption. Avoid large-scale and long-term power outages. Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw the news. In fact, in the past few days, there have been calls one after another every day, within an hour. Even sometimes, only power supply for 10 minutes. At this time, the government is still willing to supply electricity to ordinary people, even if it is only for a short moment. It is probably their best effort. The vast majority of power stations around the world have shut down, and before the Ice Age passed, energy was used less and less. However, what Zhang Yi cares about is not the content of the news, but the tone of the female anchor and the way the news is broadcast. This time the tone of the female anchor is very serious, and the content of the broadcast is no longer mainly to comfort the public. This means that officials have given up concealing the extent of the disaster across the country. When you are unable to control it, you can only let go of the news in an all-round way, so that everyone can recognize the reality as soon as possible, and then find a way to save themselves. Sure enough, when Zhang Yi turned on his phone, he saw that various chat groups had exploded. Some scolded the government for their inaction, some cried in despair, and more were buying materials at high prices. The price of instant noodles has risen from 2,000 yuan a pack 2 days ago to 5,000 yuan a pack. Zhang Yi still felt speechless. The greedy nature of human beings is really clear at a glance. Knowing that the world is at the end of the day, it is almost impossible for things like money to have any effect in the short term. But they are still willing to exchange food and drink for money. Zhang Yi didn't say anything. He was like an observer, observing everything detachedly. Life still has to go on, even if hope is lost, but no one wants to die, even if it is to survive. So scolding is scolding, quarreling is quarreling, and they still have to struggle desperately to survive the next day. Chapter 36 Vicious Women. Since the water pipes have been frozen, water use in the community has become a major problem. If you want to drink water, you can only brave the ultra-low temperature of more than -70 degrees outside to go to the first floor to get snow water. But after the snow water is retrieved, how to melt it has also become a big problem. The temperature in the room is also 50 or 60 degrees below zero. At this temperature, the ice is as hard as cement. Some residents were extremely thirsty, so they licked it with their tongues, and then their tongues were stuck to it, and they were frozen to death. In the past few days, Zhang Yi discovered through the monitoring probe that a group of people under Chen Zhanghao would come to spy on him every day. Obviously, they thought that Zhang Yi would definitely come out to fetch water, and planned to take this opportunity to kill Zhang Yi. However, for many days, they did not see Zhang Yi walking out of the room. They would not have imagined how rich Zhang Yi's family was. As long as he wants to, he can live in this room until he dies without worrying about food and clothing. Is this Chen Zhanghao still alive? He's quite capable. Zhang Yi said to himself. Chen Zhanghao's calf was shot by an arrow. Without effective treatment, his leg would definitely be useless. And because of the infection, even his life could not be saved. Not to mention that under such extremely low temperatures, any injury would cause a high fever. It's a miracle to be alive. Could it be that the virus didn't die because the temperature was too low for the virus to survive? Zhang Yi doesn't know much about medicine, so he doesn't know why Chen Zhanghao is still alive. But he didn't care too much. Who lived and who died outside didn't have much influence on him. Chen Zhanghao's death was only a matter of time. Early the next morning, after Zhang Yi woke up, he took the phone over with sleepy eyes. Reading the news of the chat group every day, and then going to the forum to see the outside world is his greatest joy now. In this kind of doomsday, watching others struggle in dire straits under extremely low temperature. But I am enjoying the days in heaven. This sharp sense of contrast can bring great satisfaction to Zhang Yi. At least, it dispelled his inner boredom and occasional loneliness. Compared with those who died of freezing, starving, or struggling on the verge of death, he no longer knows how happy he is. Turning on the phone, I didn't expect to see the messages from Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning first. Fang Yuqing, Zhang Yi, I'm sorry, I may have been too cold yesterday, so I was not in a good mood. I shouldn't lose my temper with you. You're right. In the past, I was too innocent and ignorant. I didn't find anyone who was really good to me. Now I realize that the person who treats me best is you. In fact, I also like you very much in my heart. Just forgive me, please. Let's live a good life together in the future. I want to be your woman. You live alone, won't you be lonely? I can meet many of your needs, you know. Zhang Yi sighed a little. Fang Yuqing, who had been acting extremely cold before, finally lost all her dignity and arrogance in the face of the disaster. Even though Zhang Yi taunted her so mercilessly, she still had to abandon her dignity and choose to kneel and lick Zhang Yi. Tisk tisk tisk. Zhang Yi shook his head. He was still stupid in his last life. If I knew she was this kind of woman, wouldn't it be easy to get started? People like Fang Yuqing are like those women who can do a complete set with 800 yuan, but they want 88 dowry before they are willing to marry. She's obviously very vulgar. Why pretend to be innocent? Zhang Yi replied, although rotten pears can quench thirst, I'm not that thirsty yet. He is a man with ancestral craftsmanship. No matter how bad it is, there are still many props that can be used in the different space. It is a high-end product, a full simulation product developed by Sakura country, which can heat the voice. Hey, It's not that Zhang Yi wants it, it's because there are too many categories in Walmart's warehouse. After closing Fang Yuqing's chat interface, Zhang Yi opened Lin Caning's again. This woman is even bolder than Fang Yuqing. She may also know that she is not as good looking as Fang Yuqing, and if she competes, she will be inferior. So she directly took a few selfies of herself, all of which were full of stars. Compared with Fang Yuqing, she is more open-minded. If this thing is left behind, it will directly kill her socially. Zhang Yi quickly replied, "Your ones are too dark." Then ignore it. He also knew that after seeing the beauty of his home, these two women would try to get into his home at all costs. Now they have abandoned their dignity and begged him, and they will do whatever it takes in the future. But so what? Zhang Yi spent a lot of money to build his home into a steel fortress, just to deal with any possible situation. After Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning received Zhang Yi's reply, they were angry and cursed again. They didn't even want their dignity anymore, and begged Zhang Yi in a low voice. Lin Caning, in particular, took pictures of all the places and poses she could. Zhang Yi actually said that she was too dark. What a shame. Well, although what Zhang Yi said is true, the blackening of those places is irreversible. What can she do? The more they thought about it, the more unwilling they became. The current life is like hell, not only to endure hunger, but also to endure extremely low temperature. Zhang Yi's home is the last hope in their hearts. Fang Yuqing gritted her teeth, a fierce look appeared in her eyes. If it doesn't work, just rush into their house. I must live in their house, I don't want to go hungry anymore. If it really doesn't work, it doesn't matter if you kill Zhang Yi. As long as she can live in Zhang Yi's house, she is willing to do anything now. Although I think so, she is a woman after all. If she went to Zhang Yi's house to smash the door, she would definitely not be able to beat Zhang Yi. Thinking of this, Fang Yuqing looked to the next door with cold eyes. She and Lin Caning had already broken up. The former plastic sisters had completely torn their faces. But now, Fang Yuqing needs someone to help her. So she came to the next door and said to Lin Caning, "Zhang Yi, this damned slut, actually watched us starve and suffer cold, and wouldn't let us into his house. We can't sit still. Such a good house is not worthy of him. Let's find a way to snatch his house." When Lin Caning heard Fang Yuqing's suggestion, her eyes also glowed green. Kneeling and begging Zhang Yi didn't work, so I could only try to cheat and rob him. Okay, I agree with you. Why does a bitch like Zhang Yi live in such a nice house? He should get out, be frozen to death, and be bitten to death by wild dogs. It's most suitable for us to live in their house. Chapter 37. Out of hatred for Zhang Yi and longing for Zhang Yi's family, the two plastic sisters temporarily reached a united front. However, the two discussed how to snatch Zhang Yi's house. If we go to rob the house, the two of us may not be able to beat Zhang Yi. We still have to rely on the strength of foreign aid. Even in normal times, neither of them can beat Zhang Yi. Not to mention that they are cold and hungry now, while Zhang Yi is full of energy and doesn't have to worry about eating and drinking. Lin Caning gritted her teeth. Why don't you ask some neighbors to go there together? Fang Yuqing gave her a cold look. Are you stupid? No matter how many supplies Zhang Yi's family has, it's still not enough for so many people. So the fewer people who know about it, the better. Lin Caning asked anxiously, then what do you think should be done? Fang Yuqing said proudly, we can call Zhou Peng over. Zhou Peng is her loyal licking dog, and Fang Yuqing is obedient. Although Zhang Yi has also licked Fang Yuqing, but at least he has some brains, so he won't be manipulated by Fang Yuqing. But this Zhou Peng is a completely brainless bastard. For the sake of Fang Yuqing, he might even let him die. So Fang Yuqing planned to ask Zhou Peng to help her snatch Zhang Yi's house. Lin Caning smiled and clapped her hands. What a good idea. It's still easier to use the licking dog. Fang Yuqing immediately called Zhou Peng. At this time, Zhou Peng was already skinny and hungry. As a warehouse employee, his family originally had a lot of food, but most of those things were given to Fang Yuqing. Zhou Peng didn't realize at all that he was just playing with him, and was still moving himself, thinking that Fang Yuqing would definitely marry him in the future after giving so much. As soon as he saw Fang Yuqing's phone call, he was so excited that he forgot about the hunger and cold, and ran over in a hurry. When he arrived at Fang Yuqing's house, Fang Yuqing immediately came over and said with an aggrieved face how Zhang Yi treated her so lightly. Wow, Zhang Yi is simply a beast. I just asked him for something to eat, and he asked me to sleep with him. Zhou Peng, You know that I'm not that kind of casual woman. Zhou Peng looked at Fang Yuqing's appearance with pear blossoms in the rain, and thought that she was being bullied and found him immediately, and he felt extremely happy. Look, why does she look for me instead of anyone else? It shows that my position in her heart is extraordinary. This is probably love. Zhou Peng felt that this was the time to show his masculinity. Maybe he can take Fang Yuqing down in one go. So he patted his chest and said, Zhang Yi is really no good. How dare you do such a thing to you? I must kill him. Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining looked at each other, and said to themselves, this dog licking is really easy to deceive. They had prepared a lot of speech skills, but they didn't have time to use them, so Zhou Peng took the initiative to take care of Zhang Yi. Fang Yuqing held Zhou Peng's arm and looked at him with charming eyes. Zhang Yi's house has a lot of food. And there is a fireplace in his house, which is very warm. Why does this kind of bitch live in such a house? Zhou Peng, let's find a way to take his house. In the future, where will we live together? Do you think it's okay? Zhou Peng didn't like Zhang Yi at first. Because Zhang Yi is more handsome than him and richer than him. In the past, both of them were interested in Fang Yuqing, and Fang Yuqing naturally had a better attitude towards Zhang Yi than him. Now, Zhou Peng was held by Fang Yuqing's arm, and he could feel the indistinct touch through 7 or 8 layers of clothes. There is a feeling of victory in my heart. He immediately said, haha, good. Yuqing, don't worry, this matter is covered by me. Seeing that Zhou Peng agreed, Fang Yuqing said, but you must be careful. Zhang Yi is such a selfish and shameless person. If we go to rob his house, he may fight back. So we have to go there with weapons, and it's best to strike first. Lin Keining also said at the side, if you want me to say, just beat him to death. She hated Zhang Yi the most. Because she sent her private photos to Zhang Yi, but instead of being moved, Zhang Yi said that she was too dark. If this matter got out, she would want to die. Therefore, Zhang Yi must die. Zhou Peng hesitated a little when he heard this. Killing people is easy to say, but after all, everyone has lived in a civilized society for more than 20 years. It's not easy to get started. Seeing Zhou Peng hesitate, Fang Yuqing immediately turned pale. Why, you don't agree? Zhang Yi has bullied me so much, and you are still soft-hearted to him. It seems that what you said about loving me in the past was all fake, HMPH. Seeing that Fang Yuqing was angry, Zhou Peng's dog-licking nature broke out again. He hurriedly said, don't, Yuqing, don't be angry, can't I listen to you? As long as he can get Fang Yuqing, he will do the murder. After all, we are now in the last days, and people's moral concepts are slowly declining. Fang Yuqing said, well, it's not too late, let's go there now. At that time, find a way to trick Zhang Yi into opening the door. As soon as he opens the door, we will. She made a throat-slitting motion. Lin Keining took all the prepared tools. 2 kitchen knives, a steel pipe, and the clothes hanger she removed. Zhou Peng took a kitchen knife and threw it into his thick down jacket. After several people finished their preparations, they went to Zhang Yi's house full of murderous intent. After they came to the door of Zhang Yi's house, Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining hid beside them with weapons in their hands to avoid being seen by Zhang Yi through the cat's eyes. The two of them gave Zhou Peng a wink, signaled Zhou Peng to knock on the door, and tricked Zhang Yi out. Zhou Peng nodded, reached out and touched the kitchen knife in his clothes, and suddenly gained confidence. He reached out and knocked on the door. Zhang Yi, are you at home? I'm Zhou Peng. Hearing the voice outside the door, Zhang Yi was a little curious. Zhou Peng? Although he and Zhou Peng both work in the warehouse, they don't have a good relationship on weekdays. It was because they both pursued Fang Yuqing's relationship that some conflicts occurred. This guy, it's definitely not a good thing to come to him. After all, in the last days, there is no good news in this world. Zhang Yi did not go to open the door, but turned on the TV to check the surveillance. Sure enough, he saw the scene outside the door. Looking at the 2 women hiding on both sides of the door, holding kitchen knives and steel pipes in their hands, with murderous expressions, Zhang Yi felt a chill coming from his back. Although he was fully prepared, the viciousness of these 2 women still made him gasp. Want to kill me? You deserve it too. Zhang Yi sneered. And the cold murderous aura spread from his black eyes. It's not certain who kills who. Chapter 38. Seeing that no one answered him, Zhou Peng knocked on the door harder. Zhang Yi. I'm Zhou Peng. Open the door, I have something very important to tell you. Zhang Yi sneered, reached out and took out a gun, and unlocked the safety with a click. He walked to the door. "Who is it?" Zhou Peng heard Zhang Yi's reply, and quickly reached out his hand below, signaling Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning to get ready. It was the first time for the two women to do this kind of murder, and they were a little nervous. But when they thought that after killing Zhang Yi, they could live in his warm and comfortable house with plenty of food, their eyes immediately became firm. Zhou Peng said, "Zhang Yi, I'm Zhou Peng. Our family has eaten up all the food. For the sake of our colleagues, can you give me something to eat?" He had a pleading look on his face, but quietly lowered his hand, ready to draw his knife at any time. Zhang Yi leaned against the door, and said lightly, "Our family has no food, I can't help you with this matter." Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning cursed inwardly. "Can you have food at home? There are 7 or 8 boxes of food in the kitchen, and there are scallops and abalone, are they all fake? But in this case, they have already prepared for it." Zhou Peng gritted his teeth and took out a box of medicine from his pocket. "Zhang Yi, I don't take yours for nothing. I'll exchange it with you for a box of ibuprofen." It was freezing cold, and many people had colds and fevers. In this case, medicine can save lives, and its value is not even weaker than food. In order to lure Zhang Yi to open the door, Zhou Peng took out the ibuprofen he treasured. Zhang Yi was behind the door at this time, but he was thinking about how to deal with them. Kill them? That is also simple, whether it is with a gun or a crossbow, they can be killed. But killing them monotonously is really boring. Under the apocalypse, death is a kind of relief, and living is an endless hell. Of course he wouldn't take advantage of these bitches. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Yi had an idea in his mind. He walked over to the trash can and pulled out a pulsating bottle. "I just drank several cans of beer, and just happened to feel the urge to urinate." He faced the mouth of the bottle and opened the gate to release the water with a clatter. "Ibuprofen? This stuff is good, you let me think about it." Zhang Yi lazily chatted with Zhou Peng while running the water. A few people outside the door also heard the vague sound of water, but they didn't know what Zhang Yi was doing. It was just that Zhang Yi's tone seemed to be a joke, and excitement appeared on the faces of several people. Zhou Peng said quickly, Yes, you open the door, let's exchange. I don't want much, just 2 packs of instant noodles." According to the current prices in the community, ibuprofen can be exchanged for at least 5 packs of instant noodles. Zhou Peng deliberately offered a low price just to trick Zhang Yi into opening the door. 2 packs of instant noodles? I'm afraid you'll be at a disadvantage. How embarrassing. After Zhang Yi finished draining the water, he immediately had a bottle of iced black tea in his hand. The bottle was quite full, and there was still white foam. Zhou Peng thought that Zhang Yi was about to take the bait, so he leaned on the door and said, "It's okay, I'm so hungry now, and we are colleagues again, it's better to give you a better deal than others. Open the door quickly." Zhang Yi stepped on a stool and climbed to the shooting hole on the door, then poured a bottle of hot fresh iced black tea to the 3 people outside the door. Zhou Peng and the others were startled when the sudden liquid was poured on their heads. Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning screamed even more. "Ah! What is this? Hey, it's hot water, and it's still steaming." Feeling the warm heat, several people were a little happy at first. But within a second, they smelled that special pungent smell. This is urine, what? The urine drenched their heads, and the 2 women screamed like pigs, and immediately squatted on the ground and vomited. And Zhou Peng's eyes were red with anger. Bang bang. He slammed the door hard. "Zhang Yi, I'm at %. Get the hell out of here, I'll kill you." But the heavy alloy door didn't change at all when it was hit with a fist, but Zhou Peng's hand hurt badly. Zhang Yi's hearty laughter came from inside the door. "How does my urine taste? Is it good? A few idiots still want to come here to cheat me. Are you worthy?" Zhou Peng and the others suddenly realized that they had been discovered by Zhang Yi. Surprised and angry, several people yelled at Zhang Yi outside the door. Zhou Peng scolded, "Fuck, I shouldn't talk nonsense with you. Just wait for me, I will kill you if I go in." He stopped pretending, took out a kitchen knife from his clothes, and slashed at the door with all his might. Ordinary doors are made of wood, and the door can be opened as long as the lock is broken. But Zhang Yi's door is made of integrated alloy, which can withstand the bombardment of RPG. When Zhou Peng went down with his knife, it was like chopping on a steel plate. The door didn't move at all, and the huge counter-shock force was directly sent flying by the kitchen knife. The kitchen knife passed Zhou Peng's head, and directly opened a long opening. and his tiger's mouth was also shocked with blood. A little knowledge of biology: human skin is more fragile in winter, and the pain is more intense. Zhou Peng was completely frightened and stupid. If the kitchen knife had been a little bit off just now, it would have slashed directly on his face. But soon, his gaze was forcibly interrupted by the severe pain. Zhou Peng cried out in pain. Seeing this, the fear in their hearts caused the two women to abandon Zhou Peng and run away in a hurry. Zhang Yi watched all this in the room, weighed the pistol in his hand a few times, and thought about whether to go out, so he directly shot each of them. Not to mention beating them to death, at least let them hang. Then they will definitely live in this cold end. But after thinking for a moment, he gave up this plan. Why? Because there are 3 mad dogs outside. Although there is a high probability of injuring them by opening the door and going out, there is also a 0.1% chance of being killed back. Taking his own life as a joke, Zhang Yi would never do such a thing. That's right, he is the king of dogs. I have such a comfortable life in my childhood, why bother to be emotional? It's okay, I'll boil them to death here. Let's see if they can survive for a few days in this apocalypse. Zhang Yi calmed down, returned to the sofa, and continued playing games. Zhou Peng and Fang Yuqing ran home, and he sat on the sofa, trembling all over. He almost died just now, and he still has lingering fears. Fang Yuqing screamed immediately when she saw the urine on his body drop onto the sofa. Go away, who let you sit on my sofa? Chapter 39 Stink Bomb. Fang Yuqing felt sorry for her sofa, but also disliked Zhou Peng's urine. After all, Zhou Peng was the most splashed at the door at that time. She immediately yelled at Zhou Peng, telling him not to sit on the sofa. Zhou Peng felt very wronged in his heart. After hearing Fang Yuqing's words, he went to trouble Zhang Yi. Now the whole body is drenched in urine, shivering from the cold, and there are wounds on his body. In the end, Fang Yuqing actually treated him like this. However, dog licking is dog licking after all. After Zhou Peng thought about it, Fang Yuqing scolding herself made sense. He didn't do well in helping Fang Yuqing, and his body was dirty. How could he defile the sofa in the goddess house? The more Zhou Peng thought about it, the more he felt that he deserved the scolding. He quickly stood up and apologized to Fang Yuqing. I'm sorry, Yuqing, it's all my fault. Don't be angry. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining were in a hurry to change clothes, so they waved at him. Get out quickly, we have to change clothes. Zhou Peng didn't dare to say anything, and hurriedly left Fang Yuqing's house. The two returned to the room and quickly changed the clothes that Zhang Yi had urinated on. But after changing their clothes, they could still smell the pungent smell. After all, not only their clothes, but also their hair and skin were stained a lot, and even flowed into it along their necks. The weather is so cold, taking a bath is tantamount to courting death. They dare not at all. Therefore, I can only bear the nausea. The action failed, and they were splashed with urine. The two women felt even more hostile towards Zhang Yi in their hearts. What should I do? Zhang Yi is too cunning to deal with. Damn it, no matter what I do, I will take his house away. Let's think of a way, and we don't believe that he has no weaknesses. While the two women were discussing how to deal with Zhang Yi sent Fang Yuqing a message. This is P. Next time I'll throw shit on you. W. This time, Zhang Yi was in a hurry to prepare. If he was asked to prepare in advance, he would definitely treat them with feces and pour them all over. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining's faces turned green. If shit was thrown on them, they would want to die. Zhang Yi turned off the chat and stopped reading the messages from Fang Yuqing. Although he has blocked the message prompt, the number of words showing the number of messages is rising rapidly, and it is not a good thing to know without reading it. He went to the owner's group to look inside. As soon as I entered, I saw a good show. Ever since Chen Zhanghao robbed the house, Aunt Lin seemed to have a mental problem. Now she keeps voicing in the group, clamoring for everyone to hand over all the supplies to her. I'm the director of the neighborhood committee of our community. Who dare not listen to me, and arrest you all when the snow melts? Did you hear that? Call me back. You must bring all the food to my house today. But this time, few people hung her up. More than 10 days have passed, and everyone has realized what the current environment looks like. The authorities don't care about everyone at all, and Aunt Lin's so-called neighborhood committee is not even a fart. She couldn't scare everyone, but was ridiculed instead. Damn old woman, can you hurry up and die? Back then you lied to our family with a box of instant noodles, and I haven't settled the score with you yet. Some people talked about the beginning of the snow disaster. If you hadn't told everyone that it was fine and didn't let us hoard supplies, how would we be where we are today? As soon as this matter was mentioned, it instantly aroused everyone's anger. When it just snowed, although it was very cold outside, some people still wanted to go shopping. But at that time, Aunt Lin kept saying in the group that the snow disaster would pass soon, and that anyone who hoarded supplies would be dealt with, so no one dared to go out. After a few days, heavy snow blocked all the roads, making it impossible to go out. If it weren't for her, everyone could at least stockpile supplies for half a month more. Damn old woman, look what you've done. It's all your fault, you evil spirit. The neighbors yelled at Aunt Lin. The rich second-generation Su Hao also appeared in the group. Buy supplies at high prices, whether it's food or drink. I'll pay 10,000 yuan for a pack of instant noodles, and 5,000 yuan for a bottle of mineral water. The price of instant noodles has reached, Su Hao is really anxious, his money will become waste paper if he doesn't use it now. Zhang Yi shook his head, what time is it, and I still want to use money to buy things. As soon as Zhang Yi finished speaking, someone jumped out immediately. I have some food at home, I can sell it to you. Zhang Yi was speechless for a moment. It seems that no matter when, there will be people who are greedy enough to risk their lives for money. No matter how bleak the hope is, there are still people who are betting that this snowstorm will not last long. But only Zhang Yi knew that this snow disaster would continue for an extremely long time. And after the snow, even if the snow stops, it will take a very long time for the whole world to recover. Money is not even as useful as waste paper, at least waste paper can be kept to wipe your ass. Thinking of this, Zhang Yi suddenly had a bad taste in his mind. There's so much toilet paper in his warehouse that he can't run out, but the neighbors probably don't have that much. What do they wipe their ass with if they run out of toilet paper? Soon, he shook his head again. I don't have enough to eat every day, I guess I don't eat much. However, this also indicates that the harmony that is barely maintained now will soon be broken. Zhang Yi knew what kind of terrifying beasts people would turn into once food was completely cut off. The next day, Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining went to Zhang Yi's house and knocked on the door. They begged outside the door, hoping that Zhang Yi would let them in, and said that they were about to freeze to death. Zhang Yi ignored them. Frozen to death? That was exactly what Zhang Yi wanted to see. Seeing that Zhang Yi didn't respond, they said, for the sake of the past, it's okay to just give them some food. Through the surveillance camera, Zhang Yi saw that they all came here with umbrellas. It seems that after being splashed with urine yesterday, it has left a psychological shadow. But Zhang Yi was not stupid enough to open the door for them. If he guessed right, they all had knives on their bodies, ready to kill themselves at any time, and then rob the house and supplies. Zhang Yi thought for a while, and opened a different space. There are many sundries in the warehouse, which are not needed on weekdays, and Zhang Yi put them away at that time. Anyway, his different space is big enough. So he doesn't have to worry about taking up space. Didn't expect it to come in handy now. He took 2 stink pops from the toy area inside. This kind of toy is used for pranks, and when ignited, it emits a very disgusting stench. And it is very difficult to wash off with water and washing powder. Hearing the voices of Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining outside the door, he chuckled, picked up the stink bomb and walked over. Chapter 40 Gunshots. Zhang Yi lit the stink bomb, and then quickly threw it out along the shooting hole above the door. After the stink bomb landed, a large puff of thick black smoke quickly appeared. The pungent stench quickly filled the corridor. When Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining smelled this smell, they felt like opening a can of feces that had been sealed for 10 years, and they vomited on the spot. Ouch, what, vomit? Zhang Yi, vomit, you are so shameless. The stench in the corridor increased, and the 2 women ran away quickly. And Zhang Yi was not worried about the stench coming back into the house. After he closed the shooting holes, the whole house was in a semi-sealed state. Although the air can still circulate, an air filtration system was specially installed when the house was built to prevent any odor and harmful air from entering. Zhang Yi laughed happily when he saw the 2 women walking and throwing up in embarrassment through the surveillance. But soon, he received a complaint from the neighbor next door. Zhang Yi, what is that thing you threw at the door? It smells so bad. Could you please consider the feelings of your neighbors? Zhang Yi's neighbor is a young couple who have moved here for 2 years. But on weekdays, Zhang Yi didn't have much contact with them, and at most they met and nodded when they took the elevator. At this time, he didn't bother to maintain the relationship between neighbors. In the last days, he only considers his own safety in everything he does, and he doesn't care what happens to others. It can even be said that as long as he can live safely and comfortably, he can kill others without mercy. In the last days, no Madonna mentality is allowed, and once it appears, it must be strangled immediately. If you don't accept it, come and hit me. After Zhang Yi finished speaking, he blocked the neighbor directly. Again, he was too lazy to quarrel with others and waste his saliva. Soon, Zhang Yi discovered that the neighbors were spraying him in the crowd. But it's a pity that others don't care about their shit at all. Zhang Yi chuckled, the feeling of being immoral is really cool. This afternoon, Zhang Yi was suddenly awakened from his sleep. Boom. A loud noise sounded in the corridor and quickly spread throughout the unit building. Zhang Yi's expression was a little dignified, and the sound was like a gunshot. In their community, someone has a gun? Zhang Yi was not sure whether it was a gun or a firecracker, so he hurried to the living room and turned on the TV to check the monitoring. As a result, the sight in front of him made his pupils shrink. In front of the house on the third floor, Chen Zhenghao, who had a broken leg, was holding a black gun in his hand. That cold and dark light can easily make people tremble. And the door of that residence was open, and from the surveillance angle, 2 human legs could be vaguely seen. And those little karami under Chen Zhenghao's hands came out with some food, candles and other things with a smile on their faces. Obviously, the resident on the third floor was dead. Even if he was not dead, he wouldn't be able to survive for a few days after being shot and losing all his supplies. This time is 10 o'clock in the morning, and usually, every family will go out to dig snow together at this time and come back to drink water. Together, we can temporarily increase the temperature in the corridor so that it will not be too cold. And no one can survive without water. So this activity is going on every day. Chen Zhenghao saw this opportunity precisely, and started to kill people and rob supplies. Ding dong. The phone rang. Zhang Yi took a look at the phone. The message was from Daquan. Chen Zhenghao sent a voice. Now that the city has been blocked by heavy snow, we can't rely on anyone, we have to rely on ourselves. I, Chen Zhenghao, will take on the responsibility of building 25 buildings. From now on, everything here will be decided by me. Be obedient and obedient, I can let you live well. Whoever dares to be the first bird, he. Immediately afterwards, Chen Zhenghao sent 2 pictures. One is the gun held in his hand, and the other is a picture of the residents on the third floor, lying in a pool of blood. The crowd that used to be chirping and chirping was completely silent at this time. Everyone was shocked by this bloody and cruel scene. I believe that most residents are full of fear at this time. When had they seen such a scene in peacetime? Can't even imagine it. But now, the bloody reality is in front of him. In this unit building enclosed in a blizzard, other people are hell. No one dared to refute Chen Zhenghao, everyone was afraid of death. Lying on the sofa, Zhang Yi couldn't help but said, Chen Zhenghao is brilliant. He is indeed a man who can make a living in society. Chen Zhenghao played both soft and hard ways, and did not blindly intimidate the owners of this building. Because he only had 1 gun in his hand, no one knew how many bullets he had. But Zhang Yi knew that the number would definitely not be many. After all, this thing is strictly controlled in China. Back then Zhang Yi spent a lot of money, and they only sold him 100 pieces. Moreover, the little karami under Chen Zhenghao's subordinates only looked like 5 or 6. There are about 50 households in the whole building, and there are more than 100 people. If the big guy is pushed into a hurry, he will not be able to stand up with a cripple. Therefore, it is the best way to make these owners obedient by playing hard and soft, drawing big cakes for everyone on the one hand, and scaring them on the other. Human nature has always been afraid of death. Even if they knew in their hearts that if Chen Zhenghao could kill the owner of the third floor today, it might be their turn tomorrow, but they still had a fluke in their hearts. For example, those who live in high-rise buildings feel that if Chen Zhenghao kills the person on the third floor today and the person on the fourth floor tomorrow, it will take half a month to kill him. Then he doesn't need to go all out. Anyway, the people below will definitely resist. And so on. As for the people living on the fourth floor, they felt that Chen Zhenghao didn't necessarily kill people in order. On the contrary, if you resist, you will definitely be killed, so it is better to stay at home honestly. Maybe someone else died first. Zhang Yi shrugged his shoulders. Anyway, these things have nothing to do with him. Others dare not resist Chen Zhenghao, but he is not afraid of Chen Zhenghao at all. As long as Chen Zhenghao dared to show up at his door, His life and death would be completely in Zhang Yi's hands. As for whether the other neighbors are dead or alive, it has nothing to do with Zhang Yi. They acted like ostriches themselves, unwilling to resist. Zhang Yi has no interest in being a saint, sacrificing himself, and saving others. At this moment, there was a rush of ding-dong and ding-dong from the mobile phone. Zhang Yi picked up his phone and looked at it, and immediately displayed hundreds of extra messages. He found himself drawn into a new group. Out of curiosity, Zhang Yi went inside and took a look. It turned out that the owners of the unit building had created a new group, but there was no Chen Zhanghao and his gang in this group. It turned out that it was Chen Zhanghao's death threat that made some people think of hugging together to keep warm. Zhang Yi didn't say a word. After all, his own safety was definitely not a problem. He just wanted to see what this group of people could do. Chapter 41 Neighbors Who Can Only Shout Slogans. As soon as the new group was established, the owners and tenants of each household chatted in a panic. Chen Zhanghao is simply a devil. He robbed 3 houses and broke in all of them. There were 2 young people living in 301 on the 3rd floor. They were fierce and wanted to resist, so they were directly shot to death by him. The other 2 households are 302 and 401. Being frightened like this, they honestly gave them all the food and drink at home. Hey, on days like this, if there is no food or drink at home, isn't that just waiting to die? Someone said indignantly, we must unite to fight against bullies like Chen Zhanghao. Someone below responded immediately. Yes, we have so many families, are we still afraid that 5 or 6 of them will fail? As long as everyone is united, he has nothing to fear. Someone also mentioned, but he has a gun in his hand. HMPH, so what if he has money? How many bullets can he have with a gun? That's right, we rushed forward, and he couldn't stop us at all. I'll do a left forward kick, and then a right whip leg, and I'll make him fall to the ground. He's crippled now, and he's not worth mentioning at all. If he doesn't have a gun, I can deal with him alone. When everyone mentioned dealing with Chen Zhanghao together, they were all full of enthusiasm, as if wishing they could rush to Chen Zhanghao's house now and execute him. However, someone interjected at this moment. Then when do we start? This sentence caused a brief silence. Of course, it is more convenient to have a mouth addiction, but if you really want to go all out, you may not dare. Everyone understands the truth, but no one wants to be the one who rushes to the front and gets shot. It's so beautiful, but it's actually to fool others to block bullets. Well, this matter is not a problem, we can definitely deal with him. But after all, he is a desperado, and there are few gangsters under his command. We want to take a long-term plan. Yes, reckless behavior is the behavior of a reckless man, we must use wisdom to win. Zhang Yi pouted. Just now they shouted that Chen Zhanghao is nothing to be afraid of, and there are still people who want to deal with Chen Zhanghao by kicking left and kicking right. Now it's really time to go up, and start calling wisdom to win again? He is really At this time, Uncle Yu, the security guard of the community, suddenly sent a message. We can't let Chen Zhanghao and the others go on like this. If this goes on, everyone will be killed by him. Even if he wasn't shot to death, and was robbed of food and drink, wouldn't he still be dead? I can take the lead, everyone, come with me and teach these bastards a lesson. Uncle Yu doesn't talk much on weekdays. He is a veteran, with a straightforward personality and a passion for blood. He is also well respected in the community. Facing a shameless scum like Chen Zhanghao, a scoundrel who disregarded human life, his heart was full of anger. Hey, Uncle Yu is mighty. As expected of being a soldier of the People's Army, amazing. Uncle Yu, I support you. Do you need weapons? Our kitchen knife can be used by you. I still have a Longquan sword that I bought during my trip last year, let me lend it to you. Chen Zhanghao is a cripple, Uncle Yu. Find a chance to sneak up on him from behind, don't give him a chance. The big guys praised Uncle Yu together, and gave their own suggestions in a hurry. But no one said that they wanted to deal with Chen Zhanghao with Uncle Yu. Uncle Yu was also a little speechless. Chen Zhanghao and the others have 5 or 6 people, and they still have guns in their hands. I definitely can't go there alone. At the very least, we need a dozen young men to come with me, so that we can be safe. I have been a soldier, and I still have some skills, so I can take the lead. The resident with an adult male in the house suddenly fell silent. And Fang Yuqing and other female residents who don't have adult males in their homes feel as if they have been beaten with chicken blood. Yes, we women are weak and unable to deal with this kind of scum. Men in building 25, now is the time to show your masculinity. The men in our building are all great men, you must succeed. The time has come to show your gentlemanly demeanor. I hope you will succeed immediately and protect us weak women. Of course the adult males and the owners were not happy. Some of them are unmarried, live alone, or share with friends. It is not impossible for them to risk their lives against villains. But seeing the attitude of the female proprietors, they obviously look like female boxers. And it is their duty to risk their lives against the villains. Then these men are not happy. But don't. In the past, you put women first in everything, but now you let us go first when you are in danger. Why? Now we will give you the fair treatment you want. If you want to go up, everyone will go together. On weekdays, you can punch so hard on the internet, if you have the ability to fight against Chen Zhenghao and the others. It's not that I can risk my life, but I will only protect my own wife and children. When the female owners saw that the man refused to deal with Chen Zhenghao, they also changed their faces and began to curse. Are you men? Isn't this the occasion for you men to come out? Let women take risks. Thank you for being able to speak. You guys are really shrimp heads. It's so disgusting. I will definitely not look for someone like you when I get married in the future. The purpose of recruiting new owners was to discuss how to deal with the risks brought by Chen Zhenghao. But inexplicably, there was a quarrel about who should deal with Chen Zhenghao, and it finally turned into a confrontation between men and women. Zhang Yi was also very speechless. This plot is exactly the same as the previous life. That's why Chen Zhenghao killed half of the people in the entire building in his previous life, and later he was still able to manage everyone submissively with a gun. When they died, they only knew to close their eyes and didn't even dare to struggle. Seeing this, Uncle Yu anxiously appealed in the group. Everyone, stop arguing. Dealing with Chen Zhenghao is the biggest problem now. In the unit building, there is a female owner who lives on the 7th floor, named Liu Xianshan. She is the main force of male-female sparring, a 22-year-old little fairy who has just graduated. At this time, both men and women in the group became angry. Whenever Liu Xianshan saw a man speak, he would spray it. Even if the kind-hearted Uncle Yu spoke, she quickly typed with 2 fingers. Uncle Yu, why are you pretending to be a good person? You have been a soldier, so you can fight, and you should be the first to rush to this kind of thing. There are so many men in our building, if we exchange one with them, the others will be safe. In today's society, we women are obviously more important, and the only role of you men is to provide services for us women. I hope all the shrimp-headed men in the group will remember this, and don't make me say it a second time. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Reserve Grain. Liu Xianshan's speech was ridiculed by a group of male owners on the spot. It's the end of the fucking world. Who is still used to you little fairies now? Do you really think you are an onion? Let us risk our lives to protect you, and you deserve it? Uncle Yu, who was sprayed, was even more speechless. He couldn't figure it out. He was originally thinking of everyone with good intentions, but why did everyone have this attitude? He talked less, and he couldn't spray others, so he stopped talking. Looking at the chats in this group, Zhang Yi thought it was quite lively, and it was quite interesting to watch as a joke. After all, the ways of entertainment are limited now. All in all, there is only one point in his conclusion. The vast majority of people in this group of owners deserve to die. The scolding battle in the chat group became more and more intense. Maybe it was because they had been suppressed for too long, and everyone finally found an outlet to vent, so they all released it. All vicious and dirty words filled the chat group, which was unbearable. So much so that in the end they all forgot the original purpose of building a group. Zhang Yi put the phone aside and came to the kitchen by himself. Although there are many ready-made meals in the different space, occasionally he would like to cook some meals by himself to enjoy life. From the different space, take out fresh ingredients. Potatoes, onions, ginger and garlic are as fresh as if they were just dug out of the soil. The beef brisket is also very tender, and the bright red meat is very appetizing at first glance. Walmart deserves to be the world's #1 supermarket brand, and the quality of the products it uses is undeniable. Zhang Yi stewed a pot of stewed beef brisket with potatoes, and then put some pancakes on the side of the pot according to the method of ground pot chicken. After being stewed in this way, the pancakes are full of soup and become very delicious. Picking up the phone, he found that Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning had sent him another message. This time, there was a pleading voice inside. Fang Yuqing and Lin Caning cried very hard. Obviously they were also frightened by Chen Zhanghao's murder. 2 green tea and white lotus flowers have no ability to resist bad guys. Therefore, they are all likely to become the targets of Chen Zhanghao's next move. Especially after seeing the strong anti-theft door of Zhang Yi's house, they felt that Zhang Yi's house was a safe paradise and wanted to come in and live there. Zhang Yi, no matter how much conflict we had in the past, at least you loved me once, didn't you? You can't just watch me die, can you? I know you look tough on the surface, but your heart is soft. Please, help me. Lin Caning has no lower limit than Fang Yuqing. Zhang Yi, I don't want to die. As long as you let me live in your house, I'll be your meat BQ. You can play me to death, but don't let me die in the hands of those people. Zhang Yi could feel the fear in their hearts. To be honest, if Zhang Yi's house had not been reinforced at this time, and he lived in such a cold and food-deficient home, his despair would not be less than these two. But, would he feel sorry for these 2 women? Ha, of course not. After all, this scene is what he longs to see the most. The more desperate they are, the more excited Zhang Yi is. He didn't speak, but took a slow video for them to watch. In the video, in front of Zhang Yi is a large pot of beef brisket stewed with potatoes, and a fireplace not far away is burning with a raging flame. The warm and peaceful atmosphere in the house was in stark contrast to the blizzard and the howling north wind outside. This is undoubtedly a huge stimulus for the 2 women at this time. After all, let alone having enough to eat now, whether they can survive or not has become a problem. The 2 then said a lot of begging for mercy, and asked Zhang Yi to let them enter the room to live together. Zhang Yi chose to ignore it. Neither agreed nor refused. He just wanted to leave them a little bit of hope, so that they had to come and kneel and lick Zhang Yi even though they knew their hope was slim. The day was so boring. After Chen Zhanghao and the others have snatched a certain amount of supplies, they will not be in a hurry to continue working for the time being. They also understand that if things go too far, all the owners will unite against them. Gathering a group, pacifying a group, and killing a group, this is the most reasonable method. But that night, through monitoring, Zhang Yi noticed some changes in Chen Zhanghao and the others. At night, there is no power supply Xianhe City, only Zhang Yi's family is on, but the people in the same building did not notice it. Zhang Yi saw Chen Zhanghao's younger brothers carrying 2 corpses out of the door. Zhang Yi took a closer look and felt that the 2 looked familiar. The reason why I remember it clearly is because Zhang Yi, the owner of the entire unit building, knows almost everyone. But the appearance of these 2 people is obviously not from their apartment building. Therefore, it could only be the other younger brothers who were called over by Chen Zhanghao when it just snowed. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Yi wanted to understand what was going on. When Chen Zhanghao led people to attack Zhang Yi's house that day, Zhang Yi washed it down with a big water hose. And this kind of extremely cold weather of -60 or 70 degrees is very deadly. Therefore, these 2 people should have been frozen to death. Colds and fevers caused by low temperatures are not surprising if there is no comfortable environment and treatment with drugs such as ibuprofen. Otherwise, why was life expectancy so short in ancient times? The 2 bodies were stripped of all their clothes, and then thrown to the stairs. Zhang Yi frowned. At first he couldn't figure out what their purpose was for doing that. If you just want to throw the corpse, you can just throw it out the window, and the heavy snow can bury everything. Why do you have to throw it at the door? However, while thinking in his mind, Zhang Yi suddenly thought of a very terrible idea, and his pupils couldn't help shrinking slightly. Chen Zhanghao left their corpses, could it be, to keep them as spare rations? This thought made Zhang Yi's hairs stand on end, and he shuddered. But this explanation is indeed the most reasonable. The sky is cold, the world is a huge refrigerator, and there is no need to worry about food corruption. Many modern people's understanding of the end of the world comes from those movies about the end of the world. And cannibalism is not a rare thing among those subjects. In the records of human history, when there is a catastrophe, there are horrible records such as changing children and eating rice and meat. It is probably the years of peace that made some people forget the history recorded in black and white. Until the end comes. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, and his rapidly beating heart quickly calmed down. Compared with ordinary people, he accepts this reality faster. After all, He is a person who has experienced the end of the world once, and he was also eaten as food. He knew that when the time came to the end, because of hunger, human beings could do any cruelty and eat everything they could. Chen Zhanghao, what a ruthless person. Although Zhang Yi didn't want to see that social elder brother, he still couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Many people understand the truth. But if he could really use his brother's corpse as a food reserve before the food ran out, not to mention inhumane. Chapter 43 The Little Fairies in a Hurry. After Chen Zhanghao killed the residents of 301, the atmosphere in the entire apartment building became very tense. In the large group before, no one dares to speak now. Chen Zhanghao also seemed to realize that everyone secretly formed a new owner group behind his back. But there is no way to prohibit this kind of thing. He can only threaten and win over in the owner group. The situation is so difficult now, everyone is trying to survive, and no one wants to kill people. If the boy in 301 hadn't hit my man first, I wouldn't have killed him by mistake. After all, I'm not a devil. I hope everyone can live in harmony in the future, and when we need it, lend us some food. As long as you cooperate obediently, I guarantee that everyone will live in peace. As soon as these words were said, some people really relaxed their vigilance. Some people even think that maybe, as Chen Zhanghao said, the owner of 301 died because he himself did it first. Stockholm Syndrome refers to this type of people. In the despair of death, as long as the perpetrator gives them a little favor, they will be grateful. Zhang Yi is still like a bystander, watching with cold eyes, neither commenting nor participating. But in his heart, he was also a little more wary of Chen Zhanghao. Although his house was well prepared, with Chen Zhanghao and his broken gun, there was no chance of breaking in. However, in the last days, there is always nothing wrong with being a little more careful. If you really offend me, find a chance to kill him. Zhang Yi said lightly. This brief tranquility was broken the next day. Although every family dared not go out because of fear of Chen Zhanghao, they would not be able to survive if they did not go downstairs to dig ice to fetch water. Therefore, someone still opened the door quietly, intending to dig snow while no one was paying attention. In the end, he was caught by the people Chen Zhanghao sent to stay. The supplies snatched on the first day were all eaten up by the hungry gangsters. Now they are red-eyed and have already regarded the residents of the entire building as their prey. As long as anyone is caught, they will not be polite at all, they must be snatched. In the new group, someone urgently called for help. Zhang Yi opened the group chat and was immediately happy. It was none other than Liu Xianshan who lived on the 7th floor who called for help. Chen Zhanghao lived on the 6th floor, just downstairs from her. As a result, this morning, she wanted to sneak down to dig snow to fetch water while it was dark, but she was caught. She lives alone, and it doesn't take much effort to clean it up. It is the target of Chen Zhanghao and the others. In addition, it has been almost half a month since the closure. Chen Zhanghao and these little karami are also feeling uncomfortable, and are planning to find a woman to vent some. Liu Xianshan was not considered pretty, but she was young and had a decent figure. With limited conditions, everyone will no longer be picky. So the group of little karamis rushed up with wrenches and iron bars, smiling. Liu Xianshan quickly closed the door, and in desperation, she thought of asking her neighbors for help. Woo, everyone, come and save me. They are smashing my door, please, I will be killed by them. Please save me. Aren't you a veteran? They can't beat you. They are simply unbelievable, they are too cruel, everyone must unite. In case something happens to me, it will be your turn next. Liu Xianshan was crying in the group, anxiously sending out one voice after another. But yesterday, she was not like this when she made a domineering speech in the group and angered a group of male business owners. Uncle Yu replied, "Girl, what happened suddenly now? I can't deal with so many of them alone." Although Uncle Yu is kind, he will not die in vain. Chen Zhanghao had 5 or 6 people and a gun in his hand. Even if he had been a soldier, he couldn't resist. If everyone reached a consensus yesterday and formed a guard team, there's hope to scare them away. When Liu Xianshan saw Uncle Yu's words, her heart felt cold. She cried and said, "You can't do this. You can't protect me, a weak woman? What kind of men are you?" Woo. At first, everyone had some sympathy for her, but when they found out that she had shamelessly kidnapped everyone, they suddenly became angry. Coupled with the man who Liu Xianshan sprayed on the entire building yesterday, everyone counts new and old grudges together. Yes, we are all useless. You are so powerful, little fairy, you definitely don't need our help. Haha, the little fairy can punch, kill those people. Didn't you bark very loudly yesterday? I thought you were so powerful, but in the end, you have to beg us grasshoppers to save you. Forget it if you die. If you die alone, there will be a happy family. The group was full of cheerful laughter. Everyone didn't have the slightest sympathy for Liu Xianshan's desperate situation, but gloated a little. Because Liu Xianshan's home was robbed, at least they will be safe for a short time. Seeing these cold ridicules, Liu Xianshan fell into despair. She turned to beg those female proprietors to save her. However, the responses from the female owners were also very uniform. We are all sisters, and there is nothing we can do in the face of this situation. Come on, sister, hold on. I support you mentally. You have to hold back, otherwise, if the door is broken, maybe they will give you to something. That's right, there are so many of them, they will play you badly. Some people are perfunctorily comforting her, while others are trying to scare Liu Xianshan out of spite. After all, the joys and sorrows of human beings are not connected. The long-term isolation and the threat of death have caused many people's hearts to twist. More and more people have joined the group chat, but the topic has changed. Ha, I suggest that you crush one of them to death, my sister, it can be regarded as eliminating harm for the people. Yes, anyway, your home was robbed, so you probably won't be able to survive. It's better to drag it back when you die. Liu Xianshan was trembling angrily, and when she was about to say something more, the door was kicked open with a bang. Zhang Yi's home, he looked into the surveillance, Liu Xianshan let out a scream, and then was dragged out by a few little Karami's legs. It's so cold outside, don't forget to exercise, your firepower is too strong. Zhang Yi sighed. But it is reasonable, in the current situation, no one knows when they will die. And before dying, the first thing a creature thinks of is to inherit its own life factor. Zhang Yi took a bite of the chocolate bar, and said to the monitoring screen, at this temperature, any inch of exposed skin is life-threatening. Chapter 44. Why do you ask me to give alms? What is the ending of Liu Xianshan? Although everyone has not seen it with their own eyes, they can guess it. What could happen to a girl who fell into the mouth of a pack of wolves? Even if Chen Zhanghao and the others spared her life, they would have to wait for death if they lost all the resources they needed to live on. However, everyone did not feel too much grief in their hearts, but instead breathed a long sigh of relief. Liu Xianshan can at least feed Chen Zhanghao and the others for a while. But even so, it sounded the alarm for other owners. If this continues, they may not survive for long. This afternoon, Zhang Yi found that he was suddenly dragged into a chat group again. He couldn't help but laugh. In such an unstable environment, people's suspicions are getting heavier, and there are more and more small groups. As if hugged together, they will become stronger. Zhang Yi glanced at the members of the group and found that there were only 6 or 7 people in it. Zhou Peng, Fang Yuqing, and Lin Kaining were all inside, as well as several other neighbors. Zhang Yi frowned slightly, not knowing what they wanted to do. But soon, someone took the initiative to find him. Fang Yuqing, it's too dangerous outside now, Chen Zhanghao and the others will grab us sooner or later. We must all unite together. Zhang Yi said lightly, it's okay, I live quite comfortably by myself now. Lin Kaining, that's not the way to say it. You only have one person, but Chen Zhanghao has 5 or 6 people and a gun in his hand. So you are very unsafe now. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched. Why don't you ask Chen Zhanghao, who broke his leg? Chen Zhanghao has not dared to take revenge until now. He knows that Zhang Yi is a tough one. Zhang Yi asked, then what do you want? Fang Yuqing hurriedly said, it's too dangerous for everyone to live apart now. So we decided to move together, so that even facing Chen Zhanghao will be a force of resistance. Zhang Yi laughed suddenly. Why, when you get together, you won't be afraid of the gun in Chen Zhanghao's hand? It's ridiculous. If it's really useful to have a lot of people, there are about 100 households in the whole building, and more than, people go up together, one person and one foot can trample Chen Zhanghao to death. Everyone is a coward, and getting together is just for comfort. Another person in the group spoke. His name was Sun Zichao. Zhang Yi remembered that he was a white-collar worker in finance. If there are more people, at least they will be afraid. And we can unite and seal the door, so we won't be afraid of being broken in by them. Just now, what we lack is a good stronghold. Fang Yuqing hurriedly answered, Zhang Yi, Your house has a balcony, and the anti-theft door is very strong, which is very suitable for fighting against Chen Zhanghao. So, we hope you can join our team and fight against Chen Zhanghao together." At this point, Zhang Yi finally understood. Fang Yuqing must have told these people that his house is very good. It is very likely that these people already know that Zhang Yi's home has a perfect insulation system and a lot of food. Zhang Yi sneered. Their abacus was so good that he could hear it from dozens of floors away. Zhang Yi said unceremoniously, "I don't need it, thank you. I live very comfortably by myself now. If you want to live together, you can find a place by yourself." "What, are you kidding? 7 or 8 people crowded into your own home? At this time? I don't know who is a human and who is a ghost. Doesn't that mean that I bring danger to myself? Besides, Zhang Yi doesn't know them anything, why?" After being rejected by Zhang Yi, the people in the group were obviously very unhappy. "Sun's Hichao, Zhang Yi, everyone's life is in danger now, you can't be so short-sighted. Only when we are together can we survive." Another member of the group, Wang Min, also said, "We only chose your house because you have a balcony on your floor, which is convenient for getting snow water. You think we are taking advantage of you, but in fact everyone can protect you." Zhang Yi smiled crookedly. He sent a message in the group, "Protect me?" The series of question marks behind him reflected the sarcasm in his heart. "Do you know what kind of life I'm living now? Still protecting me? You really have the face to say it." Fang Yuqing, who was hiding under the blanket, pursed her lips, and then began to fire. She knew that Zhang Yi hated her and would not let her in the house. That's why now she uses everyone to kidnap Zhang Yi morally. She felt that human life was at stake, even if she, Lin Kaining, Zhou Peng and others had done bad things to him. Zhang Yi should be more magnanimous. Lin Kaining, "Zhang Yi, well, I admit that we have something to ask of you. But think about it, as long as you let us enter your home for refuge, you can save 7 or 8 lives. Do you have the heart to watch us being killed by Chen Zhanghao? We have been friends and neighbors for so many years." Among these 7 or 8 people, Zhang Yi did know all of them, and there were a few colleagues who had a good relationship on weekdays and even had a place to work. They opened their mouths one after another, asking Zhang Yi to let them in because of their past friendship. It's a pity that Zhang Yi, who was persecuted to death in his previous life, is no longer that soft-hearted guy. Most of the people who shared his share of the pie back then were also in this group. Under the doomsday, what kind of human nature are we talking about? The only way to survive is to live by yourself. So he said, "It's time like this. Whether everyone can survive depends on their own ability. You are of no value to me, so why do you ask me to protect you?" After speaking, Zhang Yi directly chose to withdraw from the group. Wanting to squeeze his will is simply a dream. As long as he has no morals, he will not be kidnapped. After chatting, Zhang Yi took out a box of potato chips from the different space. He came to the window, sat on a soft imported recliner, and watched the scenery outside while eating potato chips. Apart from other things, ignoring the extreme cold outside, this snow scene is really beautiful. The earth is covered in silver, without any variegated colors, which is pleasing to the eye. At this moment, he suddenly saw a shaking black spot appearing on the 18th floor ahead, followed by a desperate scream. Zhang Yi looked carefully, only to find that it was a person falling in the air. In the blink of an eye, he fell into snow that was 6 or 7 meters deep. The temperature outside is more than -70 degrees, and it is inevitable to die if you fall into the thick snowdrift. It seems that the situation in other unit buildings is similar to this one. Facing the depletion of supplies, everyone started fighting for supplies, even using violence to kill and rob. As long as there are people, it is evolving in the direction of purgatory on Earth at this time. While eating potato chips, Zhang Yi was thinking about the future in his mind. It seems that in addition to being wary of the neighbors in this unit building, you also need to be more prepared for the survivors outside. Under the doomsday, all accidents are possible. Chapter 45. In the 25 buildings, Chen Zhanghao and others robbed several families one after another, directly and indirectly killing 5 people. Such a situation has caused many residents in the unit building to unite. Their solution to this problem is that everyone should not disperse and live together. Then block the door with heavy objects to prevent Chen Zhanghao and others from breaking in. As for the way to get water, it is through the window. Residents on some floors have balconies, and they also received luoxu. On Fang Yuqing's side, they lived together at Wang Min's house on the 18th floor. Wang Min is Zhou Peng's cousin. She is in the cosmetics business in Xianhe City, and she is considered an independent strong woman. Therefore, it also has her little property. The house is a 3-bedroom and 2 living room, which is the same type of apartment as Zhang Yi. As for the others, they are all her company's colleagues and close friends. After all, it is the end of the world. Even if you want everyone to hold together, you can only find someone you can trust. Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining were able to come here because Zhou Peng guaranteed their admission. As for the voting certificate, it is naturally the situation of Zhang Yi's family. At this time, a group of people were sitting in the living room, wrapped in thick down jackets and scarves around their necks, wishing to seal up their entire bodies. Because Zhang Yi rejected the proposal of living together, everyone was in a bad mood at this time. Wang Min looked at Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining, and said indifferently, I agreed to let you live in earlier because of my cousin's face, and you also promised that you would persuade Zhang Yi to let us live in his house. Now Zhang Yi doesn't agree at all. What do you say about this matter? Zhou Peng is a dog licker, but Wang Min is a fine person, and it can be seen at a glance that these two girls are difficult to deal with. Therefore, if they hadn't talked about Zhang Yi, Wang Min would not have let them join in. Fang Yuqing hurriedly said, Sister Wang, listen to me. Zhang Yi's house is really full of supplies, and a fireplace is installed. As long as we can live in his home, life will be very easy in the future. After Fang Yuqing and the others were repeatedly rejected by Zhang Yi, they no longer had illusions about Zhang Yi in their hearts. So they betrayed all the information about Zhang Yi's family, including those photos and videos that Zhang Yi sent to them. Lin Keining also said, yes, you have watched the video, you should understand how comfortable Zhang Yi's home is now. Let's all work hard and live in Zhang Yi's house. Not only can we fight against Chen Zhenghao, but we can also live a comfortable life. When Wang Min and the others heard this, they couldn't help but took out their phones again to watch the video Fang Yuqing forwarded to them. In the video, there are pictures of Zhang Yi's home, which are extremely eye-catching, making their eyes shine. Wang Min frowned, but his attitude has already been shown, and he is not willing to let us live in at all. At this time, Sun Zhiqiao, who was wearing glasses, raised his gold-rimmed glasses and said in a low voice, he is too selfish, he doesn't care about other people's lives. We don't need to be too polite to this kind of person. In my opinion, since there is only one person in his family, why don't we use some special methods? As soon as Sun Zhiqiao said this, everyone looked over. Obviously, everyone understood what Sun Zhiqiao meant, to break into Zhang Yi's house and force him to give up the house. His friend Lu Tao also supported him loudly, I think this is a good idea. This kind of selfish person only thinks about himself and doesn't know how to think about others. How can he live in such a good house? Wang Min frowned slightly, but, according to Zhou Peng, the anti-theft door of their house is very strong. We are not like Chen Zhenghao and the others, we are not good at this. Zhou Peng also said, yes, and Zhang Yi is very despicable. Last time we went to knock on the door to find him, he even poured urine on us from above. When mentioning that incident, Fang Yuqing and Lin Keining felt nauseated and almost vomited. Until now, their hair and skin have the smell left by Zhang Yi. If it wasn't for the cold weather and their stuffy nose, the smell would have taken them away. Sun Zhiqiao raised his glasses, and said with a sneer, this matter is actually easy to handle. As long as we wrap ourselves up tightly, wear masks, and go over with an umbrella, we won't be afraid that he has tricks. As for breaking the door, he looked at Lu Tao at the side. Lu Tao coughed and said, I have worked in a lock-picking company before, and I am very familiar with this kind of thing. I can open all kinds of locks commonly used in the market. Hearing what Lu Tao said, Fang Yuqing and the others were so excited that they almost jumped up. Great! As long as we can open the anti-theft door of their house, so many of us rush in. I see how this bastard Zhang Yi can resist. Fang Yuqing gritted her teeth and cursed. She had begged Zhang Yi like that before, but Zhang Yi refused to let her in, and even did all kinds of humiliating things to her, which made Fang Yuqing hate Zhang Yi to the bone. After entering the door, I must press his head in the toilet and let him eat it. Zhou Peng, the dog licking at the side, came over attentively after hearing the words, and said, I will be responsible for pulling it at that time. Fang Yuqing was disgusted by Zhou Peng's rudeness, but now she still needs Zhou Peng, so she smiled and said, okay, then eat more bean products and onions. A group of people look happy. They obviously felt that with so many of them fighting together, Zhang Yi couldn't resist anyway. So, A group of people found umbrellas, wrapped their bodies tightly, and walked towards Zhang Yi's house with some guys who broke the door. Zhang Yi's home has an alarm device installed, and whenever there is movement on his floor, it will automatically call the police. So when this group of people climbed up the stairs, Zhang Yi knew immediately. Through surveillance, he saw this group of people, but because they were all wrapped up, Zhang Yi thought it was Chen Zhanghao who brought them over. It came at the right time. I didn't kill you last time. It would be good to teach me some lessons this time, Zhang Yi said with a sneer. But he still didn't intend to let Chen Zhanghao die now. If Chen Zhanghao dies, who will clean up these bastard neighbors in the unit building? That would be no fun to watch. This group of people was packed very tightly. After arriving not far from Zhang Yi's house, they immediately opened a few umbrellas. Now, no matter whether Zhang Yi sprayed them with water or smoked them with stink bombs, he couldn't drive them away in a short time. All this is information provided by Fang Yuqing. She naively thought that no matter how many defensive measures Zhang Yi's family has prepared, the supplies in a house are limited after all. Spraying water and releasing stink bombs are Zhang Yi's last resort. Chapter 46 High Voltage Electricity. The people had already arrived at the door of Zhang Yi's house, and they were holding umbrellas, but this Hanlong security company installed a lot of pinhole probes on this floor. It is possible to photograph the actions of incoming people from various angles. After a group of people came to the door, Zhang Yi saw a person taking out several shiny metal tools from his pocket. Then he poked it into the keyhole of his anti-theft door. Sliding the door and picking the lock? Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows slightly, but he didn't care. If the anti-theft door of their house is so easy to pry open, the professionals of his Hanlong security company can eat shit. In addition to the world-class security level of this door, which is comparable to the anti-theft door of a bank vault, it is also equipped with 5 layers of defense. If you want to open the outermost lock, you must be a world-class lockpicking master to have a chance. Not to mention the addition of physical levers inside. The more complicated the thing, the simpler the way to unravel it, but simple things can't be dealt with. For example, the door of Zhang Yi's house. Since he didn't intend to go out at the beginning, he directly inserted a steel rod with a diameter of 10 centimeters into it. Unless you keep hitting with the car, you can't hit it continuously by manpower. Moreover, Zhang Yi considered the behavior of others breaking the door, so he specially installed a special defense. Zhang Yi looked at the monitor on the TV, then took out his mobile phone, opened the control software of the safe house, and lightly pressed a button. In an instant, a huge current flows through the security door. Lu Tao, who was concentrating on unlocking the lock, uttered a scream, and a strong electric current ran through his whole body. The faces of the people next to him were livid with fright, and they hurriedly backed away. "Help me." Lu Tao asked his companion for help with a ferocious face. The strong current was like a pair of pliers, biting him tightly, and he couldn't break free at all. Fang Yuqing, Zhou Peng and others next to him were dumbfounded. They didn't expect this to happen, and they didn't have the proper insulating tools at their disposal. Soon, green smoke rose from Lu Tao's body, and there was a burnt smell boom. He fell to the ground, the clothes on his body were burnt to pieces, and the skin on his arms and face was carbonite. Obviously not alive. What? Fang Yuqing, Lin Caning and the others beside them let out a scream. Seeing others die in front of oneself with one's own eyes has a huge impact. In the room, the corners of Zhang Yi's mouth raised slightly. Inexplicably, I was a little happy. But who can they blame? To hide him with Zhang Yi's idea, that's damn it. Wang Min and the others were terrified, and the plan to pry open the door failed. Sun Zichao and Lu Tao have been buddies for many years. Seeing his brother's tragic death, his eyes were burning. "Zhang Yi, you bastard, get out of here." He picked up the shovel in his hand and smashed it towards Zhang Yi's gate with a boom. The sound can be heard on several floors. However, the huge iron door was not dented or damaged at all. After the paint on the surface fell off, the thick alloy inside was exposed. Zhang Yi came to the door, put his hands in his pockets, and said jokingly, "You want to smash my door? Aren't you courting death?" He shook his head inside. "Hey, isn't it good to be alive?" Hearing Zhang Yi's mocking voice, several people outside the door were shocked and angry. Wang Min yelled, "Zhang Yi, we wanted to talk to you about living together in a good manner. How could you kill someone? You are simply worse than Chen Zhanghao, you are a murderous devil." After hearing a woman's voice, Zhang Yi also realized that the person outside the door was not Chen Zhanghao. But killing Lu Tao, He was not upset at all. After all, this kind of person deserves to die. After thinking about it, he also understood who the people in front of him were. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining must have come here. After all, now only they know how comfortable Zhang Yi's home is. Zhang Yi's expression was not good, and he scolded unceremoniously. Are you pretending to be a mother with me? It is obvious that you came to my house and smashed the door, trying to rob my house. You deserve it if you die. You still have the face to bark like a dog here. You're laughing your ass off. Sun Zhiqiao pretended to be calm. Zhang Yi, we have no malicious intentions, we just want to chat with you. But you killed our good brother Lu Tao without telling us. This is too much? Aren't you going to give us an explanation? Zhang Yi laughed out loud. Just come to chat with me? Uninvited, come up to pry my door directly, is this called chat? HMPH, after prying open the door, the next step is probably to kill me, or drive me out and let me fend for myself. And then you enjoy the safe house I worked so hard to prepare, right? Several people looked at each other. This was indeed their original thought. Sun Zhiqiao frowned deeper and deeper. The tragic death of his good brother made him hate Zhang Yi to the core. But now, how to break through the door is the most important thing. He took a deep breath and shouted, Zhang Yi, we will give you one last chance. Open the door and let us in. Otherwise, you will not be able to bear the consequences. Fang Yuqing also shouted outside, Zhang Yi, we won't hurt you. Everyone just wants to live with you and face the disaster together. Don't be ignorant of good people. Lin Kaining also shouted, yes, the big deal is that I will let you live in the master bedroom, and the supplies will be provided for you first. They were very excited at this time. Because there's heaven across the wall, they have been waiting for a day for a long time. Zhang Yi scoffed at what they said. Are you out of your mind? This home belongs to me, but you are distributing it as if you were the master. Use it if you have the ability, and I'll see if you can break in. When talking, Zhang Yi's hands were not idle. He had loaded his pistol, and had his crossbow in his hand. The hunting time is about to begin. Through monitoring, he can clearly see everything outside, and even hear their whispered conversations. Sun Zhiqiao and the others gathered together to discuss the next move. Among them, Zhejialian, who was the least courageous, asked nervously, what should we do? Now that Lu Tao is dead, no one can open the lock. Why don't we withdraw? It will be bad if we attract Chen Zhanghao's attention. But Sun Zhiqiao scolded, what are you afraid of? This is the 24th floor, and Chen Zhanghao and the others will be exhausted to climb up. Even if they want to kill and steal, they will first pick the people at the bottom. Wang Min said with a serious expression, this Zhang Yi is really difficult to deal with. He looks like he knew that the end of the world will come, and he is very well equipped. Chapter 47 Tetanus Arrow. That's right, some people gradually began to realize Zhang Yi's abnormality. Under this kind of icy apocalypse, everyone is starving and freezing, even those who have stock at home are having a very difficult time. But he was the only one who had enough food and clothing, and even chose to install a fireplace in Xianhe City, a southern city. Coupled with a sturdy security door, it looks like it is prepared for such a situation. Zhou Peng curled his lips and said angrily, if that's the case, this Zhang Yi will be even more hateful. He knew that the snowstorm was coming, but he only cared about himself and didn't notify the neighbors in advance. Pooh. He spat hard. Because of his personal enmity with Zhang Yi, Zhou Peng never let go of any chance to slander Zhang Yi. Wang Min and others still frowned and ignored Zhou Peng. After all, if it were them, they would definitely prioritize themselves and their family, and they would not care about the lives of other people. The question is, what should we do next? Prying the door won't work. Is it feasible to break the door directly? Wang Min said, looking at Zhou Peng, Sun Zhiqiao and Zhejialian. These three men are not many men in their team. If they want to break the door by force, they are the main force. Several people muttered and discussed for a while. Through surveillance, Zhang Yi saw them leaving from the stairs again. Holding a gun in his left hand and a hand crossbow in his right, he watched them leave leisurely. Zhang Yi could have shot and killed 2 people. But he is not in a hurry, his life is too ordinary now, and he needs to find some excitement. So he wants to see how these people plan to break the door. This is also to prepare for dealing with more difficult people in the future. After a while, they came back again. This time, they carried a big, thick log. From the looks of it, it should have been removed from the bed. Several women were holding umbrellas to prevent Zhang Yi from pouring cold water on them. The three men set up the wood and rushed towards the gate with a duong. The sound was so loud that Zhang Yi could feel the walls trembling. But he is not worried. If the 20-centimeter thick steel plate can be smashed, unless there is a Hulk in the opposite team. Zhou Peng, Sons Hichao and Jie Jialian collided desperately. Zhang Yi just sat on the sofa, staring at them knocking on the door, and observing the changes in the house through the mobile app at any time. This app is specially designed by Hanlong Security Company for users, who can check the movement of the whole house at any time. He was not careless, he held his weapon firmly, and if he found something wrong, he would shoot. However, after Sun Zichao and the others slammed it hard for a long time, the whole building knew about it, and the door was still as strong as before. Except for some white spots, there is not even a depression. After 5 minutes passed, the group of people were completely dumbfounded. Just how thick is this door? Even the doors of bank vaults aren't that strong. Whose house will use this kind of door? Sun Zichao and the others almost fell into despair, and roared angrily. It was the voice of unwillingness and despair. And Zhang Yi, who saw this scene through the surveillance, also smiled slightly, feeling much more relieved about the quality of his safe house. Okay, now it's time to teach you a lesson. Zhang Yi stood up, put the pistol in his pocket, and opened an iron box. There are 20 crossbow arrows in this iron box, but the strange thing is that they are all covered with rust. Logically speaking, this kind of alloy crossbow bolts is hard to rust, but these 20 bolts are all rusty and mottled, as if they have been stored in a humid environment for several years. In fact, they are all rust stains intentionally created by Zhang Yi. Just the slightest scratch on the skin creates a risk of tetanus. In this environment where there is no way to get medical treatment, it will not be fatal quickly, it will only make people's wounds infected, and then fester and rot. If it is a person shot by it, he will either choose amputation to save his life, or wait to die in extreme pain. Zhang Yi got this experience from Chen Zhanghao. Although Chen Zhanghao's legs were crippled, he still survived through some methods. But next time, if he is shot by the tetanus arrow again, Zhang Yi would like to see how he survives. A devilish smile appeared on the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth, and then climbed up the shooting hole. Fang Yuqing and the others were holding umbrellas, so they couldn't see clearly the situation of the people below. Zhang Yi didn't care about that, and shot right under the umbrella. You are lucky if you die, it is best not to die, call out. The tetanus arrow directly shot through the umbrella, followed by a shrill scream. Without waiting for them to react, Zhang Yi quickly loaded the second arrow without aiming, since they were all standing together anyway. The second one shot out again, and there was another scream. Zhang Yi quickly reloaded and opened the bow. The few people reacted at this time, screaming and running away. Zhang Yi didn't rush, aimed at them and shot at them, and he deliberately avoided the vital points, and shot specifically at the arms and thighs. Of the remaining 6 people, 3 were hit by arrows, and 1 was hit twice. However, due to the slow reloading speed of the hand crossbow, they ran to Zhang Yi's blind spot before Zhang Yi could shoot them an arrow. Zhang Yi shrugged. It doesn't matter, anyway, those guys are already dead, and they will die miserably in extreme pain. As for the others, Zhang Yi has plenty of time to play with them slowly. Again, time is on Zhang Yi's side. Or say that Zhang Yi is stable, at this time, he still hasn't opened the door to go out to make up the knife. Let's just say it's stable or not. Even if there is only a, chance of being injured, it is impossible for Zhang Yi to take this risk. The consumption of crossbow arrows is a big problem. Zhang Yi frowned, and began to think about the long term. He bought 300 crossbows and 300 more bows. After each use, it is not easy for him to go out to recycle. Although there are still many left, but people have no long-term worries, there must be near-term worries. After Zhang Yi thought for a while, he suddenly had an idea. He opened a different space, rummaged around in it, and immediately found what he wanted. There are many marbles for bearings in the warehouse, which can also be fired with hand crossbows. There is also that kind of toy glazed marble. Although the lethality is not as strong as the steel column, it is still very powerful after being shot by a professional hand crossbow. Even if the crossbow bolts are not enough, there are still many metal products inside, which can be removed and transformed. Zhang Yi immediately felt comfortable. With these things, I can eat for a lifetime. He is comfortable, but some people are miserable at this time. Fang Yuqing and other 7 people originally wanted to take advantage of the large number of people and rob Zhang Yi's house. But in the end, Stealing chickens was nothing, not to mention the death of one person, and the other 3 were shot by crossbow arrows, and had to run back in embarrassment. He didn't even dare to pick up Lu Tao's body. Chapter 48. Fang Yuqing, Wang Min, Sons Hichao and others fled back like bereaved dogs. Back in the house, after closing the door, a group of people were covered in cold sweat, panting heavily. Especially the wounded, gritted their teeth in pain, and fell on the sofa. Zhang Yi's arrow hit Sons Hichao, Zhou Peng and Jie Jiayan. After all, they were the main attackers at the time, and they were closest to the door of Zhang Yi's house. However, Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining had seen Zhang Yi's methods before, and they deliberately stood back, but they missed the arrow. Thus, resulting in the past 7 people, the 4 men either died or were shot with a tetanus arrow. Because the weather was too cold, they didn't feel any special pain at first. But after returning home, several people endured the extremely low temperature and had to grit their teeth and unbutton their clothes. When they saw the wound, their expressions all changed. If it's an ordinary arrow, I still say, pull it out, disinfect it with alcohol, and take some anti-inflammatory drugs. But this arrow is covered with rust. There are no antibiotics. Once infected, in the current environment, they can only wait to die, and the death is extremely miserable. Don't. How could this happen? Sons Hichao's pupils tightened. He understood what this meant, and the fear of death enveloped him instantly. Snapped. There was a crisp sound, and Wang Min slapped Fang Yuqing angrily. Those who were injured were all her relatives and friends. And all of this was caused by Fang Yuqing inciting them to rob Zhang Yi's house. Can she not be angry? Bitch, it's all your fault. Didn't you say that only the door of his house is strong? Why are there arrows? Did you know it a long time ago, so you ran so far? Why are you so good? Wang Min's figure is not petite. For example, Yuqing and Lin Kaining are much taller. This slap made Fang Yuqing tremble with fright. Fang Yuqing covered her face and shed tears of grievance. I don't know either. The last 2 times when we passed by, he didn't attack us with crossbow arrows. Zhou Peng was shot in the arm by an arrow, and seeing his beloved woman being beaten by his cousin, he hurriedly struggled over and stood in front of Fang Yuqing. Cousin, don't be like this. I can testify that Yuqing really doesn't know. Seeing how stupid his cousin was, Wang Min hated him in his heart. She pointed at Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining. Then why are they both fine? HMPH, I saw it just now, they are hiding far away. Lin Kaining was unhappy, and whispered, aren't you also injured? You have the nerve to say us. Wang Min yelled angrily, I was lucky and didn't get shot. Now we are all killed by you, you get out. Sons Hichao reached out to stop Wang Min, and then gave her a wink. We're all injured now, and someone has to take care of it, he said in a low voice. He didn't want to die yet. He had to pull out the arrow now and pray that he wouldn't be infected in order to survive. Wang Min's chest heaved violently, and he glanced at Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining bitterly. Don't come here to help. Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining lowered their heads, a look of resentment flashed in their eyes. But he still went to help those wounded treat their wounds. After untying their clothes, their faces immediately turned pale when they saw the power of the arrows. Zhang Yi's crossbow arrows are all professional grade and can be used to hunt wild boars and coyotes. When it hit the person, it immediately sank deeply into it. They don't have professional medical staff here, let alone professional equipment, and there is simply no way to deal with it. If one fails, it will cause them to bleed to death. Wang Min thought for a moment and said, I can only ask Dr. Zhou to help me. The Dr. Zhou she was talking about was Zhou Qi'er. Before Lin Xiao, who was kicked, his liver ruptured, and it was she who helped him hang his life. Wang Min stepped aside and called Zhou Qi'er. After a while, Zhou Qi'er came over. Wang Min walked over and excitedly held Zhou Qi'er's hand. Dr. Zhou, our lives depend entirely on you. Zhou Qi'er was wearing a black knee-length down jacket and wrapped herself tightly, but it was still difficult to conceal her tall and slender figure. She carried an iron medicine chest on her shoulders. After coming to the room, he glanced at the injuries of several people and frowned. Another arrow wound? Wang Min blinked curiously. Again? Has anyone else been shot by an arrow? An unnatural expression flashed across Zhou Qi'er's face. No, it's a patient from the previous hospital. Wang Min felt a little strange, but he didn't have time to think about it now. Dr. Zhou, please show them quickly. Zhou Qi'er didn't talk nonsense, and walked over to check the injuries of several people. By now, their faces were pale and frighteningly pale. Since the arrow couldn't be pulled out, there was no way to stop the bleeding. At a temperature of -60 to 70 degrees, this in itself was extremely fatal. Zhang Yi took a look, then frowned and said, "Their injuries are too deep. Unless I have professional equipment, I'm not completely sure about the surgery." Wang Min hurriedly said, "Dr. Zhou, it's already this time, you just do it. We believe in you." Zhang Yi shook his head. "The arrows are covered with rust, which will cause infection. The best I can do is pull out the arrow, but it will get infected without antibiotic treatment. I'm afraid." She didn't say the following words, but everyone at the scene understood what it meant. Under such conditions, once infected, it will undoubtedly die. Wang Min's tears flowed down immediately. Sun Zichao and the others are her close friends, and Zhou Peng is her cousin. In the last days, people are particularly insecure. If you want to lose so many relatives and friends in one day, it will definitely break your heart. That Zhang Yi is so cruel. He must have done it on purpose. How could he be so vicious? Even if we occupy his house, we won't kill him. Wang Min cursed sadly. Zhang Yi? When Zhang Yi heard the name, she also remembered it. She had met Zhang Yi a few times, and she vaguely remembered that he was a sunny and handsome man. However, due to Zhang Yi's cold personality, he doesn't communicate with him much. In short, if there is no medicine, just pulling out the arrow will still be very life-threatening. I hope you can understand. Zhang Yi said lightly. Today, she no longer shy away from anything. In the last days, everyone should have the awareness to die at any time. Suddenly, Fang Yuqing seemed to think of something. She said excitedly, "Medicine? I remember Zhang Yi's home has it. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels." Chapter 49. When Wang Min and Sun Zichao heard that Zhang Yi had medicine, they immediately became excited. When a person dies, he will grab at any straw. Sun Zichao struggled and said, "Is this true? Does he really have medicine?" Wang Min also stared at her. "Fang Yuqing, don't lie. Because of you, several of us were seriously injured." Now that she heard Zhang Yi's name, she also had lingering fears. Fang Yuqing said, "Just a month ago, since then, Zhang Yi's whole person seems to have changed. He started hoarding things crazily at home. I can see the van delivering things to him almost every day. Once, I saw a pharmaceutical company's car coming to the community, and Zhang Yi went to pick it up. Then, they carried 2 large boxes to his house. There must be medicine in them." Zhang Yi heard the words, and said, "Antibiotics are not rare drugs. If he really knew the disaster in advance and stocked up, he must have a lot of antibiotics and anti-inflammatory drugs in his hand. As a doctor, Zhang Yi is very sure of this." Sun Zichao seemed to see the hope of survival. The light in his eyes was a little crazy. "Then go find Zhang Yi and ask him to bring the medicine to save my life. He caused my injury, so he must save me." Wang Min gritted his teeth, with a troubled expression on his face. "But this kind of thing happened just now. He hates us too. How could he give us medicine?" Zhejialian couldn't bear the pain anymore. He was lying on the sofa, moaning in pain. "Ouch, I feel like I'm dying. You guys think of a way. Go beg Zhang Yi, you must save us." Fang Yuqing also said, "We didn't hurt him, and we planned to leave some supplies for him after breaking down the door. On the contrary, he didn't know good people's hearts, and he killed us. We are the party of justice, so what are we afraid of?" Zhang Yi heard what these people said, and basically understood what happened, and a speechless expression flashed in his eyes. But this matter has nothing to do with her, and she didn't comment much. Instead, he opened the medicine box, took out the gauze from it, and stopped the bleeding for a few people first. There was nothing left in the medicine cabinet. The medicine she keeps at home are for emergency use, and there will not be too many. And in the past few days, I have helped several neighbors to treat them, and naturally the stock has bottomed out. If Wang Min and the others couldn't get any medicine, maybe she could only help pull out the arrow and bandage it up. At least, it can make their death less painful. A group of people who speak well and speak well. Until now, they think they are not wrong. They are just trying to survive. What could be wrong? The blame can only be blamed on Zhang Yi being too selfish. Why should he enjoy such good living conditions to himself? After thinking for a while, Wang Min suddenly pointed to Fang Yuqing and said, I will leave this matter to you. I know that Zhang Yi has pursued you before, so it is most suitable for you to do it. Sun Zichao and Zhe Jialian also weakly agreed. After all, Fang Yuqing caused all of this. If she hadn't told a few people about the situation of Zhang Yi's family, and vowed that Zhang Yi's family was not well prepared and could break through easily, they wouldn't be so stupid to take risks in the past. Although Zhou Peng was somewhat unwilling to let Fang Yuqing beg Zhang Yi, the severe pain in his arm and the danger of death made him choose to side with Wang Minimum. He said to Fang Yuqing, Yuqing, we are a group, right? This matter has wronged you for a while. Only by living well can we protect you. Fang Yuqing's face was tangled, and she was very reluctant in her heart. After all, she had been insulted by Zhang Yi before. But now she has no choice. It was because of her relationship with Zhou Peng that she could join this group. Otherwise, a weak woman like her would not be of much use against bullies like Chen Zhenghao. No other team would choose to include her. Even if it can be added, maybe it will be reduced to a toy. Women, especially women without any skills other than acting like a baby and having a pretty face, are so cheap in the last days. Zhou Qier picked up the scalpel, and the conditions were limited, let alone disinfection. Even an alcohol burner will clump at this temperature. What's more, without drugs, the current disinfection is just meaningless work. She asked Sun Zichao to bite on the towel, and then started digging for arrows. At the operation site without anesthesia, screams like killing a pig soon came, and the towel in Sun Zichao's mouth was about to be crushed by him. Everyone in the room was terrified, and hurriedly urged Fang Yuqing to ask Zhang Yi to borrow medicine. Fang Yuqing bit the bullet and dialed Zhang Yi's wretched voice. Beep, beep, beep. Zhang Yi was at home, preparing to eat something. It was amazing to say that, although it was the first time to kill someone, his heart was actually extremely peaceful. Instead of fear, there is a kind of excitement of revenge success. This made him very satisfied. To survive in the last days, one must have such a mentality. He was really afraid that he would throw up, or lose sleep or something. After all, he has experienced more desperation than anyone else now, and it is difficult for him to collapse his mind. At this time, the phone rang. Zhang Yi took it over with great interest, and found that it was Fang Yuqing calling. His eyes widened involuntarily, with an unexpected smile on the corner of his mouth. Oh? I was beaten so badly just now, are you going to call me to scold me now? Zhang Yi connected without hesitation. No matter how miserable the other party is now, he is as happy as he is. He turned on the speakerphone and made lunch in the kitchen. Hey, what's the matter? Zhang Yi's voice was very gentle, as if he wasn't the one who killed Lu Tao and shot arrows at Sun Zichao and others just now. But the more he spoke like this, the more creepy Fang Yuqing and the others felt. Under the watchful eyes of several people, Fang Yuqing was also chatting in a foreign voice. She pleaded, Zhang Yi, Lu Tao is dead, Zhou Peng and the others were shot by you, and they are about to die. Woo! She cried miserably, as if she wanted to win Zhang Yi's sympathy. However, Zhang Yi just said lightly, oh, if you die, you will die. If you die early, you will die if you play dead. With a knife in his hand, he approached the microphone and said quietly, don't you think you can survive this snow disaster? The voice seemed to come from hell, and Wang Min and the others felt chills in their backs. Zhang Yi articulated their deepest fears. The city was sealed off by heavy snow, and the building had become an isolated island. Even if he is alive now, his supplies will soon be exhausted. Even if he is not killed by Chen Zhenghao, he will freeze to death or starve to death. Fang Yuqing wept tremblingly, Zhang Yi, I know I was wrong. And I blamed me for not agreeing to your pursuit. But now I want to change, can you forgive me? Chapter 50 Teasing the White Lotus. Zhang Yi asked indifferently, what do you think? Beside Fang Yuqing, Wang Min and others pushed her and told her to get down to business quickly. Fang Yuqing sniffed, and said cryingly, Zhang Yi, Zhou Peng and the others were shot by you, and they are seriously injured now. There is no medicine in the house, and they will die of infection. Did you buy a lot of medicine before? Please lend us some medicine. I promise I will never bother you in the future. Zhang Yi paused while cooking. He was overwhelmed by Fang Yuqing's logic. Fang Yuqing, guess why I shot them with rusty arrows? I want them to die painfully after being infected. This is exactly my purpose. You actually came here to borrow medicine from me? Is your brain sick? Zhang Yi scolded with a smile. Why didn't Fang Yuqing and the others understand this? But now, if they don't have the cheek to come to Zhang Yi, they can only watch a few of their companions die. And Zhou Peng and his 3 men are their hope of survival in the future. Fang Yuqing cried and said, Zhang Yi, we were wrong. Please let them go this time. We promise that we will never trouble you in the future. And the world is so difficult now, we should help each other. Don't be so cold-blooded, okay? Will your heart be happy when they die? Before Fang Yuqing finished speaking, Zhang Yi said decisively, yes, I am very happy now. Fang Yuqing choked on her words and didn't know what to say. Wang Min came over anxiously and said to Zhang Yi, I'm Wang Minimum. Do you still remember that I invited you to dinner before? Zhang Yi immediately rolled his eyes. In the past, Wang Min asked him for help to get a batch of goods from the warehouse at a low price. Zhang Yi ate her a meal, but later helped her earn a lot. Do you think it's interesting to say this? Zhang Yi asked with a sneer. Wang Min swallowed his saliva, and Zhou Peng's screams from the living room came to his ears again. After Zhang Yi heard it, he looked satisfied, wishing not to see their miserable appearance. Wang Min said, Zhang Yi, everyone is in danger now, and there is a bully like Chen Zhanghao who is killing people. Be a human being and stay on the front line, maybe we will be useful in the future. You gave us the medicine this time, and I, Wang Min, will remember your kindness in the future and will definitely return it to you. Zhang Yi said disdainfully, Grace? Do you think I'm a fool? Those Hang people were all injured by me. You guys died here, and the body is right at my door. No matter what I do, this hatred will never end. Help you, wait for you to revenge me in the future? Laugh at me to death. Wang Min also wanted to explain, we are not that kind of people. Stop it. It's so boring. Zhang Yi tisked twice, whether you are that kind of person is not important to me. The important thing is that I don't believe you are that kind of person, so I won't save you. To save someone who wants to hurt himself? That was not a pure act of the Virgin. No matter how extravagant the other party said, Zhang Yi would not be shaken. Seeing Zhang Yi's reluctance to enter, several people also became anxious. Wang Min raised his eyebrows even more. Zhang Yi, don't push us into a hurry. If you insist on letting us die, we don't know what we can do. Facing Wang Min's threat, Zhang Yi smiled disdainfully and said, didn't you do everything you can do? If you had this ability, you would have broken into my house, killed me, and taken everything from me. Grandpa, I didn't scare you too much? This trick is useless to me. Fang Yuqing snatched the phone, and said to Zhang Yi crying, Zhang Yi, do we have to go this far? How good were we in the past? Why can't we give up our prejudice against each other and start over? In fact, Kinger has always had you in her heart. At this time, Zhou Peng next door was biting a towel and doing the operation. After hearing this sentence, his eyeballs almost popped out, and the woo-woo got even worse. Faced with this kind of green tea girl, Zhang Yi also admired her. Her face was thicker than the corner of the city wall. But it's not surprising, in the current environment, Zhang Yi is equivalent to a rich man. The gold digger's ability to stalk the rich is first-rate. Suddenly, Zhang Yi had an evil thought in his heart. He knew that other people were not far away, and Zhou Peng could hear their conversation. So Zhang Yi deliberately said, Hey, Yuqing, in fact, I still have feelings for you in my heart. It's just that you hurt me so deeply that I can't let go. These words were like a match, igniting the dawn of Fang Yuqing's hope. Regardless of the angry eyes of the people around her, she said excitedly and tremblingly, Brother Zhang Yi, I knew you would love Kinger. You are so stupid, you are the person Kinger likes the most. Those things before were just to test you. Oh, you are so stupid, why don't you understand other people's thoughts? Wang Min and others next to him were numb for a while, and Zhou Peng was so angry that he almost fainted. But everyone felt that if Fang Yuqing hooked up with Zhang Yi, she would have a chance to get his house and supplies, so she didn't say anything. Brother Zhang Yi, let Kinger live in your house. From now on, Kinger will be your woman. What do you want Kinger to do? Kinger will listen to you. Okay? Zhang Yi smiled slightly. Okay. Fang Yuqing jumped up excitedly on the spot, more excited than drinking soy milk. Lin Caning said impatiently, Take me, take me. Fang Yuqing glanced at her coldly and sneered in her heart. Zhang Yi's cold voice came from the phone again. However, Yuqing, the only person I love is you. So I can only accept you coming alone. As for those dubious people, you end up keeping your distance from them. The environment is so difficult now, Let's not let a group of people come and drag us down. Are you right? As soon as these words came out, everyone at the scene changed their colors. Originally, it was hoped that after Fang Yuqing hooked up with Zhang Yi, everyone would follow suit. Why do you want to cut off from them after listening to Zhang Yi? Fang Yuqing was so excited right now that she couldn't care less about these people around her. She nodded like a pounding garlic, and agreed with all her mouth. Okay, you have the final say on everything, brother. Kinger listens to you. Then you come here now and don't worry about other people. Yet, I'll be right over, brother, wait for me. Fang Yuqing's little face was flushed with excitement, and when she thought that she could get rid of her current hellish life, she couldn't think of anything else. Immediately she ran towards the door. Wang Min and others' anger points have already been fully accumulated. Seeing that Fang Yuqing really wanted to abandon them and go to Zhang Yi's place by herself, Lin Kaining reached out and grabbed her. Fang Yuqing turned her head and roared with a distorted expression, "Get out of here. Don't stop me from going to Zhang Yi's house, I've had enough of this kind of life." As soon as the words fell, Wang Min's heavy slap slapped her hard on the face. "You shameless bitch, you have caused us so much misery, and now you want to leave? There is no way." End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.